And Jack is on Zoom. Okay. Good evening. We had a little technical difficulties there. When this is what happens when you have computer system. Welcome to the City of Paris Planning Commission meeting, February 15th, 2023. Hope you had a nice Valentine's Day yesterday. If you didn't remember, you're going to be in trouble, right? But welcome. It's cold weather. We had some rain this week, but we welcome you at 6:03 p.m. And we're going to get started with our roll call from our commission clerk.
Commissioner Lopez,
Here.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Here.
Vice Chair Shively,
Here.
Chair Hammond.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're just going to have a quick moment of silence. And would you please stand as we're led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Lopez.
Please stand for the pledge and put your right hand over your heart.
Thank you. This time, I don't believe we have any presentations from staff. Okay, we'll move on. Consent calendar, item number 6, Planning Commission minutes for January 18th, 2023. Do we have any corrections, additions, deletions? Okay. From you two, Commissioner Shively, you okay?
Yep, I didn't see any.
Okay. At this time, we want to open up for a public hearing, public comment on consent calendar. That's what happens when it's a month. Public comment on the consent calendar. Is there anyone on Zoom or anyone in the audience that has any comments concerning only the consent calendar? Seeing none, we close that part and go to commission for vote. We have a motion. We have a motion from Commissioner Lopez and a second from Commissioner Jimenez. Here we have the vote.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes. Oh, okay. Let's do it formally then. We'll press the button. Okay. Okay. And Commissioner Shively made his vote public. Okay.
With 4 yeses and 0 nos, this motion passes.
Thank you. Hopefully there's enough seats there, gentlemen. I think there's some chairs also in the back. I'm not sure. Yeah, there are some chairs in the back if you need to sit down. Thank you very much. At this time, we move to public hearing, item 7A. So I'm going to take a while to read this one. Development Plan Review. Oops, sorry. Oh, yeah, Planning Commission. Just telling me that we have a meeting now. Okay. Okay. Item 7A. Modification of conditions of approval 22-05325. A proposal to modify conditions of approval related to truck access along Redlands Avenue for a 324,147 square foot industrial building. Previously approved under DPR 19-00016. The 16.25 acre project site is located on the southeast corner of Redlands Avenue and Ryder Street within the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. APNs 300-210-001, 002, 003, 004, and 005. The applicant, Oscar E. Valdez of Albert A. Webb Associates. Requested action is to adopt the mitigated negative declaration number 2373 and the mitigation monitoring and reporting program and approve development plan review 22-00010 to allow. Oh, sorry. I should read what I have in front of me. Requested action to adopted resolution number 23. I should stop reading what's on the screen. 23-02, approving the revised planning and engineering conditions of approval. I have it here and I'm reading it there. Lesson. Okay. And we have Mr. Garcia.
Yes, thank you,
Oh,
Chair,
yes.
for that introduction. Good evening, members of the
here.
Planning Commission. And Mr. Chair, before I start, it's great to see you again here with us in good health.
Thank you. I'm trying to
Glad
get
see
back in
that.
the swing of it after
Absolutely,
4 months.
absolutely, yes. As mentioned, we have before you this evening, Development Plan Review number 190016, visiting it for modifications to engineering conditions. Just a little history and some background on the project. This project was approved back on July of 2021. The Planning Commission approved, as mentioned, DPR 190016 for the construction of a 324,000 square foot industrial building on 16.25 acres, located at the southeast corner of Redlands Avenue and Ryder Street. The project was approved to take access along Ryder Street and 2 driveways along Redlands Avenue. The site plan was approved and designed to provide truck access for egress only and restricted to right-in only turn movements for trucks along Ryder Street via a delineation lane. And truck exit the project site from the southerly driveway along Redlands Avenue, which is restricted to a right-out turning movements. And access to passenger vehicles provided the northerly driveway along Redlands Avenue. The applicant this evening is requesting the modification to engineering conditions 7, 8, and 12 to allow egress and egress along the southerly driveway on Redlands Avenue. The modifications proposed this evening are the ones that are before you. What you see in the green bold font is the modification that is changing or is being added. As you could see, condition of approval number 7 is to add the barriers installed at the terminus of the auto parking areas and the drive aisles to restrict the access of truck aisles, so there's no intermingling of employee vehicles with the drive aisles for the trucks along Ryder and Redlands. That was a big concern from the commission. Condition number 8 is adding a left in at the southerly driveway for Redlands Avenue. And condition number 12 is rewritten to the southerly driveway on Redlands Avenue shall be designated for truck access only, no autos, just trucks, and shall be restricted to left in and right out only. Therefore, this evening, staff's recommendation is to adopt resolution number 23-02 to approve the proposed modifications of conditions of approval from the engineering department. With that said, that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any clarification the commission may need. Also, Mr. Oscar Valadez and Mr. Richard Bermudez, who are the applicant representatives, are here this evening to provide any further clarification the commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And 2
Thank you.
things I want to do that I didn't do. That's what happens when you've been away. One, we do have an interpreter in the room there, and so if anyone needs language interpretation, you're welcome to let us know, and we'll make accommodations. Because the other person left and I wasn't here, so now I see you in that room. So You have that. The other thing too, was there any ex parte communication or site visits to this particular property? I know it's a second time review, but were there any, and that's including Vice Chairman Shively.
I have none.
I have none.
I drove by the site on my way here. I drive by there at least 2-3 times daily.
Same here. I've driven by the site. Okay. At this time, are there any questions, discussions, I should say, for staff concerning this project? You're welcome to go now if you have any.
Using this image,
Commissioner Lopez.
using this image that you have right here, can you just clarify of what exactly how it is right now versus how they're requesting to change it?
At this moment, the site was conditioned to only provide trucks to make a right-out turn movement on Redlands Avenue to go northbound. It's still being proposed the same way, but there is a median that will be constructed along Redlands to control the left-end movement for trucks being proposed.
So that's going to be the only addition to that's going to be requested. It's just that median, and that's going to be on Redlands, correct?
Correct, correct. Ryder Street is still right-in truck access only, as originally approved via the deceleration lane, and that's not changing.
Got you. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Commissioner Jimenez, did we look at the impact of having that, and is that long enough? I know it says on the paperwork it is because they have that whole queuing section inside the lot. From an engineering standpoint, and I saw that they kind of connected it to the one that was across the street, do you see from an engineering standpoint, is this a benefit or detrimental?
Good evening, Chairman Hammond, Commissioners. That's right, Commissioner Jimenez. They did a focused analysis. They looked at their operation and they approached us with this with this option that we allow this. And they looked at it, that this would actually provide a better distribution for truck ingress. And since we had adequate spacing, we are able to accommodate this. And the lane, turn lane, we do have a dimension that they calculated. So we'll have adequate turn lane pocket on the median on Redlands Avenue.
Refresh my memory, was this something that was discussed the first runaround before we approved this?
Yes, first turnaround, they had actually, I think, some parking, auto parking along the southerly edge. They removed those parking spaces. So this drive aisle it'd be solely used by trucks.
And we have that barrier there that they're also.
Segregated.
Absolutely, there's a barrier at the southern portion of the parking that will prohibit or limit auto vehicles from entering the throat of the truck aisle.
And then there is one on the top as well, right? On the
Yes, along
northern
Ryder,
side?
correct.
Okay,
Yes, and it's conditioned that way too.
okay.
Yes.
Those were my only questions, thank you.
So, this is Commissioner Shively. What type of barriers are we looking at for the southerly side, and what type is along the Redlands side access? Is it just a fence, wrought iron fence, rolling gate shutter, crash gate?
Yeah, it's, I believe they call it a crash gate. It's kind of a yellow triangular horizontal bar gate, if you will. I wish I had a visual image. Maybe next time we'll have that available. But that's what we've been approving for our industrial project. If I invite anyone to come and go by the Wilson project, we implemented that, and it's there. And that's what we're going to be using for this site as well.
And then, so there's no commingling of car traffic versus truck traffic on the site anymore. However, the exiting along Redlands Boulevard, going right turnout only, heading towards Ryder Street, and then the same thing with auto traffic exiting exiting the site is actually only right turn only as well because of there's no break in the median to be able to turn left. So there is potentially a lot of stacking of trucks and cars at the intersection of Riding and Redlands. Has there been any discussion, purposeful, meaningful discussion regarding maybe a break in the median for vehicle traffic to get there, because auto traffic will actually have to go down and make a U-turn to be able to get you inside the site?
Commissioner Shively, Vice Chair Shively, that is correct. The only way we can accommodate auto access to this site, to the parking, it'd be a restricted right-in, right-out turn only. There is a signal at Ryder and Redlands, so there's control there, and there's a designated left turn lane as well. But it would be open to both trucks and autos.
But there's that left turn lane at Ryder and Redlands is not shown on this diagram.
Not on the exhibit, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was always the case, even from before, because trucks could only make only make a right at that driveway on Redlands to go up to go north to Ryder Street.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for now.
Okay, we just need a clarification on this one. Let's go back to the passenger vehicle. If you're coming east, right, and you turn right on Redlands, right now there presently is no raised median down there on Redlands. I don't remember if I heard that you're going to have a raised median there, because that would defeat the purpose. If you're a passenger vehicle and you're turning left, and Redlands is supposed to be a wider street, right? Supposed to be 2 lanes in each. If you're turning left, you have to go left into that auto access. You don't want them to go down and make a U-turn and come back up, right? Or is that the
Commissioner
thought?
Hammond, ideally, what we would want them to do is drive down Placentia Avenue to take the auto access, not on Ryder Street, because there will be a median on Redlands Avenue. So that would be kind of consistent. When you drive north of Ryder, if you drive that area, there is a median along Redlands Avenue. So the goal would be for people to drive down Placentia, take a left on Redlands Avenue and get you the auto parking.
And
take
go
a
north
right.
from there. Okay. You got a question? Go for it.
Well, my question is bouncing off of yours, because now that we have that left turn, I foresee a lot of cars making that U-turn where the trucks are making the left. Because before, there wasn't a median, so they could have gone in. Where now, or if there was a median, it would have been extended and they would have had to go further south. But with that there, I think there's going to be a lot of cars trying to make a U-turn to get to work. So I think there's going to be a lot of commingling in that left turn pocket.
What we can do, Commissioner Jimenez, is actually before issuing the occupancy for this site, we can ask the applicant to do a focus study. If there is a lot of conflict with maneuvers, we can restrict the U-turn movement at that location
How would we restrict the U-turn movement?
with signage. So it'd be a sign saying you can't do
You
a
know how I
U-turn.
feel about signs.
Well, that's the
I'm
only-
looking for physical barriers, not signs, because I had a truck ride with me all down Paris from Ryder, so signs don't work, and I wanted to like make eye contact with him and point at the sign. So signage really doesn't mean a lot. Is there any physical?
Well, what
restriction.
signage helps with is the implementation of it. So they'd be subject to citation if they make that movement for even trucks as well as autos.
Yeah, because they're gonna be making U-turns and there's gonna be big rigs exiting to the right too.
Right.
So if they're trying to make that U-turn, like that's a really dangerous zone right there. Because they have to make a U-turn, there's no entrance towards the auto, so now they're battling traffic coming up and big rigs exiting on Redlands too, on that southern side.
That's correct. So we can analyze that before issuing the occupancy.
I think we're not to prolong it. because of safety issues. If they're not going to have the median is broken, they can have a left turn pocket and go into the vehicles. It's supposed to be a wider street. It's not going to be one lane.
Correct.
So consideration of a left turn pocket to go into for passenger vehicles, because you're going to bottleneck that area down there. It's inevitable in Paris. We live here and we know how they drive. We know how we drive in Paris. So it's guaranteed they're going to be making U-turns. The only problem is the truck's there, and we're setting up a safety issue. So at least consideration that a left turn pocket right there at the northerly end would probably solve it. At least consideration, do the study, the whole bit, but that's a dangerous thing to ask them to do U-turn there. And I like the plan overall, the idea of putting the vehicle parking is just getting into there. And it's just the nature of people to do it. It doesn't mean they're worse here than worse in any other city. It's just that's just the nature of doing it. If I'm coming east, a rider, I'm going to make that U-turn. I'm going to go all the way down. It's just not. The trucks are different. Trucks have to approach that. That is a truck route. That's all. But vehicles, and there's a lot of spaces here, which can be a lot of passenger vehicles. At least a consideration that they're at mid-block, a left turn pocket. Okay.
Is that something we can look at if they have, I don't know the width of the median, if they could have that? If we did a traffic study, is it too close to the corner? I know there's those limitations.
Yeah, there's the spacing, which was which has been analyzed. But
Okay.
as far as turning movements, as I said, we can analyze it further and
Yeah.
restrict that movement.
That and even looking at the possibility of making, like Chair saying, a left turn pocket also for vehicles on the northern entry where the autos come in. I don't know if that's possible.
Because people may be coming west from Ryder,
So that
east
they
on
won't be-
Ryder, and
Yeah, that would be a good
yeah,
option.
and since they can't turn in the northern, the plan is not for them to turn in and mix with the trucks at the northern end.
Yeah.
There's only one entrance, and if you're going to have a raised median, it almost begs for a study to break that at that one point.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
And it could
Good
be broken
recommendation.
up so that it's like
Correct.
only fits passenger vehicles and not
Yeah,
big
the
rigs.
median is 12 foot wide. So
Okay.
we can make it so that autos can only fit in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be a good
Yes.
alternative.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. And nothing from Commissioner Sively?
No,
Okay.
no, this is only question for staff, so
Yeah.
we're not trying to solve the issues at this time, but just discussing it.
Right.
I'm in agreement with some type of turnout pocket for auto traffic only.
Okay. Thank you very much. And that should do it for staff presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let you off easy today, right? At this time, we open it up to the presenter applicant. If you would like to make a presentation, you're welcome to come forward. We know who you are, but state your name and last name anyway.
I will. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Richard Belmutis with Albert A. Webb and Associates, representing First Industrial. Staff has kind of stated the overall conditions. Basically, we just want additional access in only. And we've heard both the scenarios, either a pocket lane or a second access, and we'll continue to work with the city engineer for either one. We're open to either scenario. So with that, this was one of the first projects, I think, where we separated the vehicle traffic from the truck traffic. So, and the condition itself kind of evolved at the meeting over a Zoom call. So I think there was some confusion until we started to do construction that we realized that there was a conflict. So we're here, we've been working with staff, we're here before you. We think we have a viable solution and we'll continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And is there any questions for the applicant? Vice Chairman Shively?
No, not at this time.
Okay, not at this time. Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to open it up for public comment. And if there's anyone on Zoom, IT let us know, or if there's anyone in the audience, please come to the podium, and we have 3 minutes in which to speak on this item, and this item only. Anyone with IT? Is there anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. And anyone in the audience? Okay, seeing that there's no public comment, we close that public hearing and come to the commissioners' discussion. And now you can put in your 2 cents.
No, I have no comments.
My only question for the applicant was why they made this change after construction started, but they answered it in their presentation, so I have no questions or no comments.
Vice Chair Shively?
My concern is just that I still have a concern with trucks coming into the lot on that southerly side. Instead of only from the north side of the property coming in and exiting only. That's my concern, and I would like to see it continue that way instead of allowing a left turn lane in on Redlands Boulevard. And then also do more investigation on and another turnout for vehicle traffic only into the middle of the property along Redlands Boulevard. Those are my only 2 concerns and wishes.
Okay, thank you. And not to prolong it anymore, I think we pretty much stated it wasn't a lot of issues other than we're concerned about the left turn pocket there. And there's a project north of this too, I think. No. There's projects across the street in that whole area, so it's just fitting into that whole process. But we want to make sure because Redlands is going to be supposed to be a secondary arterial.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Chair Shine.
you couldn't do that truck traffic with one lane collector road. Okay, so at some point in time, each one will contribute, or they'll be doing their portion up to their property line. Okay, so with that.
Can I ask one more question or for clarification? Because you're right, I hadn't thought about the new development across the street. Does it impact their traffic in any way?
Actually, we have looked at we coordinated all the driveways with the Chartwell development across the street from here.
Okay, but they won't be able to make a left when exiting the big rigs,
Correct.
right?
Their truck access is from Ryder only.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. No further discussion? We ready? Ready for a vote? Well, anyway, I'll read it. Just for the sake of it. Requested action is adopt resolution number 23-02, approving the revised planning and engineering conditions of approval, adding I don't know if it's a condition, request for in the engineering to a left turn lane, mid-block, pocket, whatever you would call it, as a consideration as part of this, so that would allow vehicle traffic, passenger vehicles. So I don't know if that should be a condition or just something.
I will revise the condition to indicate, be condition number, engineering condition number 9.
9.
So
Okay.
we'll include a left in.
Okay, left in engineering condition number 9. Okay, I think that was it. Okay. Would like to make a motion? Been moved by Commissioner Jimenez, seconded by Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes?
Vice Chair Shively,
No.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With 3 yeses and 1 no, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. I should probably read it from there. Okay. That looks pretty good. I get it right this time. We move on to item 7B in the public hearing. Development plan review. Bear with me, there's a lot to read here. 22-00010. A proposal to construct a 165,371 square foot warehouse distribution facility on 7.5 acres. The project site is located on the southwest corner of Ramona Expressway and Brennan Avenue, within the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. APN, there's a reason why I have to read this for legal reasons. 303-020-005, 022, 023, 024, and 025. The applicant, Dan Bick of Seafried Industrial Properties, requested action, adopt resolution number 23-03, adopting the mitigated negative declaration number 2373, and the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and approve development plan review 22-00010 to allow construction of a 165,371 square foot industrial based on the findings and subject to conditions of approval. All commissioners, was there any ex parte communication or site visits?
I have none. I do drive by the site.
Okay. That's Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Jimenez, I also drive by the site frequently.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay. I drove by the site as well. As Chairman Havens, he's supposed to. Okay. Okay. And you're back again.
Back again. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, as mentioned, we have this evening the industrial project for development plan review 22-00010. The subject site is 7.5 acres and it's comprised of 5 parcels located in the southwest corner of Ramona Expressway and Brennan Avenue within the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan with a light industrial land use designation. Some of the surrounding land uses that currently exist around the project. To the north, we have an existing developed commercial center with an existing light industrial building and some vacant light industrial parcels. To the west, we have light industrial vacant parcels. And to the east, we have the existing Lowe's distribution center. And to the south, we have miscellaneous industrial businesses and some non-conforming single-family residences. The image you have before you is a view south along Ramona Expressway. I believe previously this site used to be occupied by a pallet distribution center. This image is a panoramic view along Brennan Avenue looking west at the subject site. And this is an image looking northwest view along Brennan Avenue. This is the proposed site for you this evening. As mentioned, the applicant is proposing a 165,000 square foot industrial building on the 7.5 acres. The site has been proposed with a right-in and right-out access along Ramona Expressway for employee vehicles only. An emergency vehicle access along Ramona Expressway. This was asked for by the fire department for proximity to access the proposed office at the corner of Ramona and Brennan. And only a left-in and right-out exit for semi-trucks along Brennan Avenue that will be taken from Morgan Street, as well as an outdoor employee area at the corner of Ramona and Brennan Avenue, and 21.8% landscaping, which far exceeds our 12%, right, Ms. Jimenez? Yes. And talking about landscaping, here we are, right? So we have gracious landscaping being provided by the applicant. Some of the examples that you see before you is just some of the drought-tolerant palette that's being used. Just some. We have far more ground cover, bushes, as well as trees that provide adequate coverage for the site. With respect to the industrial development standards, we meet and exceed them, and as well as parking with a surplus of 8 spaces. This is the rendering that's being proposed. I believe we have a materials board and a 24 by 36 rendering that was provided by the applicant, so the commission can have a better view. As mentioned, the architecture for this building is modern. The building uses a combination of roofline and vertical columns with recessed panels and windows and horizontal wood tile for accent. The wood tile is provided at the office entrances and is also distributed throughout the rest of the wall areas that provides more interest along Brennan and Ramona Expressway. The color palette ranges from different shades of gray, charcoals, and whites that complement the wood paneling as well, and overall just provides more interest to the building. Here we have the 2D elevations. The image on top is the image that will be seen, or the building, or how it will be seen from Ramona Expressway. The commission previously had expressed wanting symmetry, which we feel that the applicant has provided with the exact same materials and colors and window treatments on both sides that could be seen along Ramona Expressway, as well even on the south elevation, which mainly will be covered by, hopefully in the near future, another industrial building, and will also be screened by a 14-foot high wall. Nevertheless, there are materials and window treatments being proposed. The image on top will be the elevation from Brennan Avenue. Again, symmetry and materials being distributed throughout the entire elevation of the site, as well as the interior west elevation. With respect to CEQA, a mitigated neg deck was prepared and was circulated to different public agencies as well as property owners within 300-foot radius. Within that 30-day time frame, staff did receive 5 comments from different department agencies and individuals. All the comments were analyzed and no new significant information arose from those comments that warranted a recirculation of the MND. And the responses to these comments were provided in the body of the MND within Section 2. With that said, staff's recommendation this evening is for the Planning Commission to adopt Resolution 23-03 and to approve Development Plan Review 23-00010 based on the findings and subject to conditions of approval found in the staff report. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any comments that the commission may have. We also have the applicant, Mr. Dan Bick, as well as his development team via Zoom and on standby for further information that the commission may request. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you.
At this time, any questions? I'm sure there are for staff. We can go whatever direction. Whoever wants to start. Commissioner Lopez?
Yeah, my first question is in regards to, I know there's a handful of projects along Ramona Expressway that are including drainage infrastructure. Would this project be including that?
Yes, they are going to be providing improvements. Mr. Borgesime might be able to add a little bit more on.
Commissioner Lopez, that's right. The existing channel that you see along the south side of Ramona Expressway, that will be removed and replaced with an underground storm drain system. And it will connect to the master drainage facility, which is downstream of this
Got you.
project.
So it's just gonna continue what's already there, but underground.
Correct.
Got you. Thank you so much. My second question is in regards to the truck route for this particular project, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Ramona Expressway is not part of the truck route. So what's the in and out for this particular project?
That is correct. They will be taking access, Brandon going down to Morgan, Morgan then channeling them to Indiana, and the Indiana to Harley Knox.
So there will be no trucks at all on
No,
Ramona
sir.
Expressway. Got you. My final question is in regards to the single-family residents south of the project. Were they notified of this project?
Yes, within 300 Sphere, as well as being notified online and in the newspaper.
And was there any responses to the notifications?
To residences, no, staff didn't receive.
There's none at all. And do you have like a rough number of how many people are living there?
I do
Or how
not
many
have that
residences?
number. I think it's about 3 or 4.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jimenez?
Mr. Lopez is learning from Mr. Hammond. I mean, God, jeez. I'm running out of blood here.
My first question is, initially, when I was scanning the first couple of pages, it just made mention that there needed to be an indoor facility, but then under conditions of approval, it did say that it was included. I just want to make sure that that is included in there, that there needs to be an indoor amenity as well. And then I also wanted to see, 21% is making me happy. I kind of wanted to say, can we take those extra 8 spaces and add more? But no, it's okay. Can we look at the truck route, please?
Yes, most definitely. Here we are.
Okay, so where this one is located,
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
there's only a left in and right out
Left in, right out,
for the
correct.
big rigs.
Correct.
How are we going to make that happen?
The-
My concern is they're going to come down Ramona, make a right, and go in because it's a lot more accessible.
Well, they're not supposed to, but,
Okay,
but I believe that we will have signage available.
you guys have to stop saying signage to me because you guys are gonna make me laugh. Is there any way where we can curve that so that there isn't a way for them to enter where we like make a reverse little,
That's right.
you know what I'm talking about?
I
Like,
do, yes. Commissioner Jimenez, actually, they're conditioned to reverse the northerly return.
okay,
So
that was
that
my note because I wrote
trucks-
reverse. It says truck route reverse and I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, that's one of the conditions of the project.
Okay, so that's what that means for us normal people. Okay, because it was number 16 says truck route reversed.
Yeah.
So that means they will not be able to make a right in.
Correct. That's
Okay,
right. So actually, it's condition number 15, that's correct.
okay,
It specifies that they got to reverse the return on the northerly side of the driveway.
okay. Tell me what that means. Can you explain that? Because I know what it means in this case, but is that something, so if I see this in a future condition of approval, does that mean,
So typically, I can maybe demonstrate it, but you have this type of return,
Yes.
typical return. So what would happen is, instead of going like this, it be returned, the return would be reversed. The curve would be reversed. Instead of like this, it'd be like this.
okay, that's what I was picturing in my head. I just want to make sure that's what it meant. Okay. And, originally I was going to ask about the colors. But I saw the layout here because it looked more red in the illustrations than it does here. I did have a question. These 3 things here, are they roll-up doors? Are they?
No, it's just part of the graphics, just to create visual interest along the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was it for me for now. Thank
No
you.
roll-up doors along Ramona.
Okay, I just want to clarify because it kind of looked like roll-up
Sorry.
doors, but I didn't see any. Thank you.
Wait a minute, you didn't say roll-up doors along Ramona, right?
And no roll-up.
Yeah, we need process. Okay. Chairman Shiley, did you have any?
So, want to ask a question regarding the two exits along Brennan Avenue out of the building.
Go back one. The site visit plan, I mean, the landscape plan.
If you go to the site plan, you can see two
Yeah,
exits
yeah.
out.
It's hard to
out of
see.
the
Yeah.
eastern side of the building. As an exit, those lead nowhere. And there is no sidewalk along Brennan. So-
Actually, there is, yeah.
They're not in the plan.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Shively, they're actually conditioned to provide for sidewalks on Brennan. There is existing sidewalk and curb and gutter on Brennan at this
Okay.
time.
So go. Okay. So that plan, I do see the landscape plan that it shows there. I just may suggest that those need to be connected to the sidewalk. So for exiting reasons. That's the only question that I got for staff, because if they're just gonna be there for a place of area of refuge, one, they're probably not gonna be large enough, so if perhaps we can condition those to be extended to the sidewalk.
Vice Chair Shively, you mean path of travel from the sidewalk to the structure?
Yes. As an exit, not an entrance, an exit. So during an emergency, if people leave through those doors, they're not on a 6x6 pad standing outside the door. They need someplace to go.
Yeah, it'd be a path of travel.
Commissioner Shively, are you referring to the exit door on Brennan Avenue? I wanted to make sure I got
That's
you.
correct. The two exits off Brennan Avenue.
Yeah, typically, that would be addressed under the plan check, under the ADA requirement with the building department. So just want to make sure, if you wanted to make that more specific, we can identify that in the conditions of approval.
I just want to make sure it's taken care of. That's all. I got no additional questions for staff.
Oh, go ahead.
I have another clarifying question. So when I was looking at the landscaping and it was talking about sidewalks, it says 2 feet of decomposed granite, then 8 feet of concrete, then another 2 feet of decomposed granite. Would you tell me what that means?
That's what we came up with our Public Works Department for a Class 1 shared use path that we would like to implement on Ramona Expressway. We don't want bicycles on the roadway. We want to have them riding on the, away from the vehicles. So with this, we can have actually a multi-use, so they can have joggers on the DG part, and pedestrians and bicycles sharing that Class 1 shared use path. So you have like a wider sidewalk in the middle with DG ribbons, I guess, on both sides. And of course, to contain the decomposed granite, we want to have more curbs.
I
So
saw
it would
that.
contain the DG in place. So instead of having a standard sidewalk, you have a wider sidewalk as well as space for runners or joggers or walkers.
Okay, so that is different from, normally when we're looking at sidewalks, we like that buffer. But this one has a bike lane, right? There's a bike lane on Ramona, or no?
There is a bike lane, that's a Class 2 bike lane. We want to do away with that. So we're gradually trying to move everything off the road for the bikers so they can be away from the traveling lanes.
Class 1?
Class-
Class 4,
This is
right?
the Class 1 shared use path.
Yeah, but you
The other
wanna-
one is Class 2 or the Class 2B, where you have a buffer,
Yeah.
but it's only a stripe, like a chevron.
How
But
about
this would actually take them off the roadway.
Commissioner Jimenez, if you're referring to, yes, there will be a landscape buffer before all this 8 feet wide kind of Class 1 trail. So there will be a buffer for people who use this trail along Ramona Expressway. So there'll be landscaping first, and then you have the 8 feet sidewalk and the 2 feet DG trail, just because we want to have a softer trail, multi-use trail, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that landscaping will include trees?
Yes.
Yes?
You'll have two 6-foot wide landscape areas on both sides.
Oh, okay, good.
You have landscaping, then this trail, and then some more landscaping, and then it'd be the on-site setback landscape.
Okay, so we're taking it extra safe, so we're taking the bikes off the road, making wider, so then we have a buffer, kind of that DG. Then we have the sidewalk and then additional DG,
Correct, and more landscaping.
and more landscaping.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, because it said a total of 12 feet, and it said an extra amount of blah, 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 but I didn't write that down. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Thank you. Vice Chair Shively, did you?
So along Ramona Expressway, it's a DG path for bicycling.
The DG actually, I think, is recommended for the joggers and runners.
Okay.
Correct.
What about accessibility along? Is DG considered accessible for someone in a wheelchair?
Well, we would have the 8-foot wide concrete trail as well.
Walk as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
Okay.
questioning that. Thank you.
Okay. I think they covered it. I think we have to clarify a few things. One is on Brennan, it's only showing one access. So where's the second access?
It's the emergency, I'm sorry.
That's on Ramona.
Oh, no.
Oh, Ramona.
Yeah, there's only one access on Brennan. Yeah, probably bring up the landscaping plan. That's probably the most visual. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit more visual, yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
only one access for trucks on Ramona.
No,
No.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
One truck access along Brennan,
Okay.
one vehicle access on Ramona,
And
and one
emergency.
emergency vehicle access only along
Okay.
Ramona.
Okay. Makes sense. I know, for the interest of time, make it real short because I have another comment, but this is for engineering. I'm picking on engineering today.
Okay.
We talk about line D, we talk about these things. Briefly explain what that means, because there may be people out there who don't understand when you say on Ramona Expressway, line D connects to, what does line D connect to? We know, but maybe just briefly for the people out there who might
ultimately,
not.
line D is, it would discharge into our line E, which would go, everything ultimately end up in Paris Valley Channel.
Yeah. Okay.
In this segment, line D actually is a portion of, segment of it is existing, which we're requesting this development to tie into in order to remove the channel along the northerly part of this development.
Okay. So they have to actually put a pipe in, or there's pipes already there?
Correct, it will be underground,
Right, but they have to put a pipe in.
correct,
Okay,
yes.
so that's additional. Okay, and that just ties in. It goes to the San Jacinto River,
Paris
Basin.
Valley Channel.
Paris Valley Channel. I never get it right. Okay, okay, just clarifying that. So each one would either have to pay the fee, or we will ask them to actually along that remote.
Correct, they'll be subject to payment of the area drainage plan fees.
Okay,
But for installing this facility, which is a regional facility, they may be eligible for credit.
okay, okay. One more thing, and I think my colleagues covered it pretty well. I know you like the landscaping too. Incidentally, on the cardboard, it showed crepe myrtle, and it's not in there. Crepe myrtle is a beautiful tree. You may want to add that, because I have one in front of my home. Trust me. You don't want the seed. I'm not sure about Australian willow. I know African sumac seeds is a real disaster, but you do show crepe myrtle on there. And if they ever look like what they show on these boards when we actually go out there, we'd be shocked. But crepe myrtle is shown there, so you might have to add that on that picture on there. The other thing too, Placentia is not mentioned. I don't think in the condition of approval for, it is engineering, but I don't think it's in the other one. And Placentia is wide open right now from Paris Boulevard, right? We're not, anything south of Ramona, they could be subject to go to Placentia, so you may want to add Placentia and I-215, because It may be jam-packed in Ramona. You don't want them in Ramona.
As a truck route?
Yeah. So they're going down Brennan, down Morgan, down in whatever other streets over there, Nevada or whatever frontage, and you get to Placentia. Isn't that the concept and idea? So Placentia, we're just being consistent with other projects on that street.
And would you like us to substitute the crepe myrtle for another species
No,
of
no,
trees?
no, no. It's shown in the picture. Yeah, you wanna hold it?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It's shown there. I just want to be consistent.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
So it's shown there. So let's.
So let's add it in.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
I'm doing for Commissioner Gomez, who's not here. She's. Because you know we're going to see that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it for me.
One more.
Oh, go right ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, I just want to make sure that we do have notated, because I saw somewhere there was going to be 2 outdoor amenities, 1 indoor. I just want to clarify really how many amenities are going to be, because I think I only saw the one on the top right hand of this screen as an outdoor.
Correct. So there's actually 2. One of them is an outdoor shade area for employees, and then also an outdoor gym.
Okay,
But it's almost confined within,
the same area kind of
correct,
thing?
yeah, but the square kind of encompassed both areas.
Oh, okay,
And then there will be one inside. We don't know just quite yet, but there will
Okay.
be one inside.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're good there. I think. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the EIR was done, and the questions were there, and it speaks for itself. We're certainly not going to go into detail because I'm not a detailed person with that. There any other questions with that, but it's there for reading. I'm done. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. Again, we're letting you off easy again.
All right, that's my lucky day.
Two, right.
Should go play
Don't
the
come up a
lottery.
third time.
All right.
Okay. At this time, if the applicant, I think the applicant's there, would like to make a presentation, just state your full name, spell your last name for us.
Hi, good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chair. Thank you for hearing us tonight. My name is Dan Bick, B-I-C-K, with Seafried Properties. We're very excited to be here. It's been a pleasure working with the staff, both planning and engineering. They've been very helpful. And we're very excited to have our first project in the city of Paris. And we're glad that you like our elevations. We do intend to build exactly what's on those. And we're pretty proud of how that turned out. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. At this time, are there any questions, discussions concerning the applicant? Speak now or forever. No one? Okay, Vice Chair Shively, since we don't see you.
No.
Okay. Okay. This is shocking, right? What's the matter? It's not even late. It's not even 11 o'clock. Okay. Okay, with that, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we open it up for public comment. You have 3 minutes to come to the podium, or IT, if there's anyone on Zoom, we welcome any comments there. And I don't think I had any no, I didn't have any pre-things on here. So IT, we start there. Were there any comments from IT?
No, sir.
Okay. And any comments from the audience on this agenda item only? Wow, okay. Well, we close the public comment portion and the public hearing and come back to the commissioners. Discussion, you can start with anybody.
Just
Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Lopez, just want to start off by saying I'm extremely happy with the landscape usage. 21% is extremely high, probably one of the highest I've seen in a long time. I also like the inclusion of the pedestrian sidewalk and how the applicant really focused on the safety of the pedestrians, making it, like I said, we're really trying to push for Paris to be a more walkable city, and this particular project pushes that. I had the same concerns as Commissioner Jimenez on the the color palette when I saw the visuals from home. But now that I'm seeing the elevations right here in person, it does look a lot better, and I think that the inclusion of the wood tiles looks really nice with this building. It really makes the building pop. Besides that, everything looks okay. It follows the zoning, and I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Jimenez?
Same. I was looking at the color at home and it looked very reddish and I was not thrilled. That's why we like to see the samples because it really gives us a different visual, because at home I was like, oh no, this is not gonna fly. But then I saw the visual and it really brings another layer of nature, but having those wood accents really softens it. And, you know, I can't say enough how happy the 21% landscaping makes me. I know that helps mitigate a lot of the toxins that will come out, all the fumes, all the naturescape will really help with that. So, very well thought out plan. So that was it.
Vice Chair Shively, if you have any comments.
So I do like the fact that this is somewhat of a more of an infill project from what was existing there prior, which was the pallet storage facility. It does fit the area, and the architecture is very nice. So I don't have any issues with this project as it moves forward. Again, I just like the fact that it's somewhat of an infill project. So that's it.
Yeah, I have no problem with this project. I think considering what's there, it would be an upgrade. You have a chain link fence on the side. I don't know whoever allowed that to be there. There are trees. I did have a question I forgot to ask staff. Were they planning to remove these trees on the east side or maintain them? Do I need to reopen the public hearing if I do this? Just ask staff, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I believe the trees are being maintained.
Okay. I'm not sure what
I
kind
think
they are. but-
the ones that are closest to Ramona are being removed, but the ones
Brennan is the main
along
one.
Brennan
Yeah,
are gonna stay.
okay.
Yeah.
What was it? Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
We do this and juggle this. Okay. Other than that, I think it's just a matter. My only concern, and it's not going to change the outcome of this, is you have one entrance and one exit. And that means you have to have a wide enough aisle, not just fire, but a wide enough aisle to get around this. Because if you're only going to have one entrance to the south for trucks, then you have an exit and come in at the same time. You got to make sure that's wide enough aisle, enough turning radius, and we don't have issues there. Obviously, you put it to the south because you're never going to face Ramona. No one's going to prove that. But going to the south, as long as it's a wide enough radius, looks like it is, to be able to do that, and a separation from the vehicle access. I'm not sure if I'm looking at on the west side. Is that a gate there that's going to separate the trucks or a vehicle from going south?
That is correct.
Okay, it's hard. It's just hard to see in the plan. Okay. That's pretty much it for me, unless you guys had other questions. I think too, and correct me wrong, I think Ramona Expressway would be better with Class 4. But I think Class 4 is the bollards. And this is, so you're talking Class 1, 2, which is stripe. Is not, stripe just means you're going to have a death rate. So Ramona Expressway, you probably want, I know it's expensive to put bollards there like on Getz. When you have bollards there, you really need to protect people because nobody's driving the speed limit. And I tell you right now, you drive there, I drive, no one drives the speed limit. So if you're going to have bikes there, it's a suicide mission if you don't have separation. But that's not this project. But I mean, that may be something for this. They have a separation there. There's a bike lane, but you're talking Class 1 or 2, right, with a stripe. We're not talking bollards. So that's Class 4, right? So look at Getz Road versus this, right? So I'm not saying I would ever, I don't even know if I'll be able to ride again, but to ride on Ramona is really tough. Okay, it's really tough. But anyway, that's a consideration overall. That's not so much this project. But I'm done. Okay, so if no more questions, we're done with that one. And we bring it to Oh, you got it in big print so I can see it. Yeah. You trying to tell me something here? Okay. Okay. Oh boy, it's a long one. Item 7B, I don't know if I need to read the whole thing. What is this one? Okay. I'll read it anyway. Development Plan Review 22-00010. Proposal to construct a 165,371 square foot warehouse distribution facility on 7.5 acres. Project site is located on the southwest corner of Ramona Expressway and Brennan Avenue within the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. I won't read the APNs. Applicant Dan Bick of Seafried Industrial Properties requested action, adopt resolution number 23-03, adopting the mitigate negative declaration 2373. And I think we just wanted to add, it's more administrative, crepe myrtle, to make it consistent on the landscaping pattern. I don't think there was any other changes. Okay.
I believe that the path of travel, I'm sorry, Mr. Fung, the path of travel from the doors that are exiting from
Oh,
the building.
I didn't
along-
understand it. That's why I didn't.
On Brennan Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be part of the building plan check, but I'd recall a reference about the truck route showing on the planning condition. Should go to Placentia Avenue. I think it's on the engineering condition, but not in the planning condition.
Thank you. But the other pathway, would that be a condition or just administrative? Okay, okay. So hopefully got those two. Okay. And okay. Looking for a motion. Motion by
I'll make a motion, Commissioner Shively.
Oh, okay. Okay, Vice Chair Shadi wants to make a motion. And we need a second. And seconded by Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes?
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With 4 yeses and 0 nos, this motion passes.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Have a good evening.
You're not going to come back another one, right? You 3 times the charm. Okay.
It's already there.
Oh boy, this is going to be a long one. Just reading it. Yeah, we're going to take a quick recess. As this is going to be a long one. Long one just to read it. Yeah.
that doesn't happen. We get
But I mean the ones for developer. Okay.
Because ultimately, we're gonna, Perry's gonna have their own engineer.
Commissioner Ivey is here.
Okay, good. Okay, if everyone would come back to order. It's 7:23 p.m. We're bringing back to order the City of Paris Planning Commission at 7:23 p.m. Item 7C. Get some coffee because it's a pretty long read here. Item C, specific plan amendment 21-05218. Tentative parcel map 21-05219, TPM 38292. Development plan review 21-00013. Conditional use permit 21-05216. And development agreement 22-05297. A proposal, to construct, to consider the following entitlements to facilitate the construction of a 950,224 square foot warehouse distribution facility and a commercial development. Number one, specific plan amendment to rezone 42.22 acres of a larger 49.17 acre site from business park office zone and commercial zone to light industrial zone, and to remove Dawes Avenue, a planned unimproved street, from the circulation plan in the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. Number two, tentative parcel map to subdivide 49.17 acres into 8 parcels, ranging in size from 0.80 to approximately 42.22 acres. Number three, development plan review for the site plan and building elevations. Number four, conditional use permit to permit fuel station with a convenience store, car wash, 4 drive-throughs establishments within the proposed commercial development. And 5, development agreement for specific project improvements and community benefits, APN 317-120-021, 317-130-017, 021, 025, and 048. The applicant, Daniel Sachs of Deca Paris Land Company, LLC. Adopt Resolution 23-04, recommending that the City Council certify the final environmental impact report, SCH 20220400023. Adopt the mitigation and monitoring and reporting program, and approve specific plan amendment 21-05218. Tentative parcel map, TPM 38292, development plan review 21-00013, and development agreement 22-05297 to facilitate the construction of a 950,224 square foot industrial distribution building and a commercial development based on the findings and conditions of approval. We will add to it approval of a statement of overriding considerations, which was not added in this.
Correct.
Okay. That should be it. Okay. Don't ask me to read that again. Okay. At this time, is there any ex parte communication or I should stop saying drive-by, site visits, that's a negative connotation, site visits or any other kind of things you want to disclose at this time?
Commissioner Shively, I know of the property.
Okay.
Commissioner Jimenez, I drive by the property quite frequently.
Commissioner Lopez, I also drive by the site.
Yes, and I drive by the site and actually kind of stood outside the site. Okay, that's Chairman Hammond. Okay. At this time, we have the city presentation. And since you're new, could you just tell them your name, since you're kind of new to us?
Where I live? Is that what you said?
No, your name. We want that later.
Douglas Fenn with the
No,
Planning
no.
Department, contract planner.
Okay. We're not there yet. Okay.
Yeah. Recently retired from California. And if you retire in California, you realize you can't retire. You have to keep working. Okay, great. Chairman, you did such a brilliant job. And this slide presentation, unfortunately, is 20 slides. It's kind of long. It's not typical. I'm going to skip the first one. Project description's already in the record. I'm just going to give a quick background that on April 20th, last year, the Planning Commission conducted a public scoping meeting for this project to review and discuss the preparation of the environmental impact report. There were some concerns raised by the commissioners and the neighbors. Some of the concerns, they wanted the developer to reach out to Valverde Schools because they're going to be right on the property line there, and you got a big box there, and of course then you're going to have trucks and all the fun things. And also you have an element of commercial. Some of the uses that some of the people in the public brought up was the truck traffic, greenhouse emissions, noise, impact adjacent to the school to the south, kind of the same thing. So an outcome of that meeting with the Planning Commission, some of the items that the developer did was he revised the site circulation to place the traffic access off of Nevada. It's not supposed to be access off of Ramona Expressway. And the access is actually off of Placentia. You go north, up on Nevada. I'll talk about it a little bit more, but you get the idea. The developer agreed also to install a buffer wall along the south property line between the school and the subject site. And the developer, for the benefit of the community, only listed a couple of these items here. Will make a $200,000 contribution to Valverde High School Career Technical Education, the CTE program, and will design and construct the Welcome to Paris sign to be located at Ramona Expressway, and a contribution of $776,000 to be used at the discretion of the city. Now, a good example just below all this text shows a detail of what the sign is supposed to look like, and also one of the entry signs that goes into the commercial component. So you can kind of see both of them. This is looking east. Okay, we put in this one just recently to let you know as an example. It's a key improvement feature. This is an example to install 2,400 linear feet of an underground 60-inch, not a 60-foot storm drain. That'd kill the project. And it is the pink purple of these colors, and they have another exhibit, and they're going to explain the other colors, but just to kind of let you know that there is cost associated with this. The project site, here's the location. It's Ramona Expressway to the south, bounded by Nevada Road to the west and Webster Avenue to the east, and then you have the school immediately to the south. They're going to be close neighbors. The existing specific plan for this is that the site from Ramona and about midway down is currently it's commercial, and the remainder of that is business park overlay. And so after the adoption of the specific plan tonight, basically to have the component of the industrial, we need to rezone that to light industrial. So you got the purple here, purple hue, which reflects for the industrial, and on the top for the commercial, which will remain. This is not to scale. Basically, if you were to take this purple hue and bring it up to under the word commercial, that's a better representation of where it's at. Okay, I'm going to test something here that they told me. Excellent. Okay, see this red dot? Can everybody see it? Okay, truck access, point 1. Truck access, point 2. Auto access, everything is separate. There's no commingle of truck and auto. And as I alluded to earlier on, Nevada, it comes off Placentia. This is the point of access, and this is the last point of access. Now, here's one thing is we have these 7 lots for commercial and the larger lot for the industrial. Right here on the hard corner, I worked on a lot of 7-Eleven projects. There's a fuel store that wants to go there, convenience store. And obviously the type of trucks that are gonna service this retail are standard kind of like just service trucks, like a Coca-Cola truck, the bread truck, the food truck. The only other truck that's gonna be a little bit bigger, but it is a little bit smaller than a semi, will be a fuel truck. And you get a fuel load usually about twice a week, depending on the demand. And the fuel vendor or the client, they always want to have off hours because they don't want to have the conflict with the store hours. And where you see my red dot, that is basically where the fuel truck would line up. And because it has to be by the USTs, and you have to have the hose, and there's other regulations, but you can't have the fuel truck between the store and the canopy. It gets stuck, and it just doesn't make sense because the fuel truck has to make the radius, has to get in and out. So that will be like the exception, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast, and that's everywhere. And this site is, I think it's 1.67 with the car wash. This is a good size lot because a lot of other projects I've worked on, it was like 1.25, and it was kind of tight. You could make it, the fuel truck could make it. And this, we have a lot of extra room, in my opinion. Okay. I wanted to include this to, now I'm a little dangerous now. This is a perspective from Nevada, just to kind of let you know, like, here's the building, all of the detail, the architectural fenestration on the loading area. Here's the berm, and then that's all solid fence, wall, and then the fencing. So when you come down here off of Nevada, you got the setback required, I believe, is 20 feet. They're showing about 64 feet of, landscaping and such. And then basically from the street, for someone, this is supposed to be someone that is like 6 feet high, will not be visible. And the line of sight as you go further, this particular rig where they dump it should not be seen. It's a good illustration. Okay, yeah, double skip. Okay, I wanted to call out the corner details because this green, here it kind of shows up gray on my screen, but this is a better representation that it's kind of a greenish color to kind of create a contrast. It has the typical whites, grays, and that color, I think it's like a P, I don't have it memorized, P4, but you have it before you. And you have the brick, and you have a lot of different detail. And as seen from Ramona Expressway, it somewhat looks like a business park. That when you're driving by, you're like, someone would have to kind of do a double take to realize, oh, that's an industrial distribution type center. It's kind of designed that way to fake you out. Okay, this is a sample, just a commercial concept for the 7 commercial buildings. In the staff report, it talks about, it calls out that there will be brick, different type of stucco, cementous concrete. It has a linear design to it. There isn't really a prominent tower-like feature, but there are some components on another exhibit before you that does kind of show something that is kind of mimic a tower, but it does kind of do a good example of this slide of showing the outdoor seating and eateries. We want to kind of encourage that because we have the weather for it. And then if you saw on the previous screen that there's like a trellis type that kind of come out and cover it so you get, shade. And the different types of drought tolerant type of landscaping and plants that will maintain their color and throughout the year. A good example is here's the main access to the center itself. You've got the center median, which has, the date palm type of accents. And then you have on the sides, you have the accents for the crepe myrtles, which would add the color. Now, the thing is, you have to be careful, and I don't think we put this as a condition, but it just came as a thought as we were discussing about some of the other project, that the date palms, you want to make sure that you put in a good tall tree, at least 15 to 20 feet tall. Because in some cases, I've had some in the past where, oh yeah, here's a date palm, here's the accent. And it's 8 foot high. So you want to make sure you have that immediate look of sense of place and showing off your center. And this is a good example that they've come up with, showing the monument sign, the enhanced paving, the type of vegetation, and the center monument sign. There's a richness to it along Ramona Expressway. There's like a curved sidewalk. It's not like just straight lined. Trying to create a sense of place. And I purposely put this one in here because I'm starting to learn a little bit about you guys, what you like. I think there's like 14 trees, but that's obviously throughout the whole center. That's the commercial, the industrial. And it's always been a pain to try to get different types of enough different variety of vegetation like trees. Say, oh, 3's more than enough. Because usually what happens is sometimes is a tree gets sick, and then other trees get sick, and you get the beetle, and then that particular species or the other species, they die out, and then 15 years later, you're trying to go back to the developer, well, we need you to replant the trees, and they're, yeah, good luck with that. But with this variety, they've gone above and beyond to where you won't really have that problem, and if it does happen, it'll have a minimal impact. There's been a lot of public support and outreach for this. Ironically, we have the Val Verde High School Academy principal, the Val Verde School District Director of Facilities, the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce to support the project. We have before you 112 Paris residents support the project. I received, they might have some other ones, but there's another support. I want to put this in the record, and it's before you. Planning Commission, trying to see who it's from, sent from the iPhone.
We
Do you guys have this?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Sorry, kind of
It's okay.
racing.
No, that's good.
All right, on the environmental, this was an EIR, and the environmental impact report, the number for it is 2022040023. For the rest of the life of this site, that's what we're going to be referencing if there is an amendment. The EIR concludes that all impacts have been greatly reduced to less than significant or have been reduced below the level of significance with implementation of the mitigation measures. Now, on this particular one, there was an adoption of overriding consideration, which would be required in order to be approved by the project, because a project of throughout California is something of large scale, scope. There's going to be some type of impact that, you have to come up with an overriding consideration. And in the staff report, it talks about, sorry, I want to get this in there, that the previous EIR for this area, because there was comment from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and they quote on all of them, if it's 100,000 square feet, 200,000 square feet, they just make the comment of cumulative effect. It's kind of like their form letter. But the Planning Commission, okay, let's see here. Because the final EIR prepared as a pragmatic level, a mitigation measure requires individual projects to prepare a health risk assessment, HRA, to identify specific impacts resulting from the use of diesel trucks. The HRA was prepared for this project. It is included in Appendix C2 of the draft EIR. Sorry, I wanted to get that in there now and make sure that's part of it, because sometimes people, overriding consideration, whatever. No, it's important, and there's a reason why it's important. And so in conclusion, I know I kind of went through this quickly because I know the applicant has a lot that they want to present before you tonight, because I think they're quite proud of their project. So recommended that City Council adopt the resolution 2304, recommending certification of the draft environmental impact report 2022-04-0023, adoption of the mitigation monitoring and reporting program approved by the specific plan amendment and overriding considerations for the following 5 items that were before you tonight. That concludes my staff report for you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Now, are there any discussions? not discussions, questions for staff concerning this particular project at this time. So anyone wants to start? Commissioner Lopez.
My first question is in regards to the 60-inch drainage plan. And that's going to flow nicely with whatever is already installed, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It'll tie in.
And then,
It's all part of the master system.
awesome. So page 7 of conditions of approval H, it described details of certain specifications for solar panels. Does that mean that there's going to be solar panels included in this project?
There will be solar panels, but I have to go back and see specifically where they're going to be located. And I'd also go through like the plan check process too.
Yeah, page 7, condition of approval H.
H, number 7H? You sure?
No, it's just H.
Engineer or the?
Let me double check.
Oh, I think it's 11, right? Rooftop solar?
Oh, on the whole agenda is page 216.
216 on the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know the COA is number rooftop solar. Is that what you? I think it's 711, right? 711.
You mentioned you mentioned the date palms for the 15-foot height. Is that already included in the conditions of approval? Or
Say
is
that
that
again,
something we
please.
need
I
to-
was reading something else from your previous inquiry. The date palms,
Oh yeah. Is that already included in the conditions or?
no, I was just kind of, like I said, I
Suggesting
was
it.
thinking about it and brought it up because it does become an issue because sometimes there's a certain amount of inventory that's out there and sometimes contractors have a hard time finding something that's readily available or they go shopping.
So in the
Nevada.
landscape plans call out for 20-foot high palms.
Is it on there, that 20 foot?
It is on there at 20 foot.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, was that it?
No, I have one more question.
Oh, okay.
Two more actually. You mentioned the full truck for the fueling station. Is that going? Does that mean that the truck is going to be exempt from the Ramona restriction? Or
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so just the fuel
Yeah,
truck.
those trucks, I mean, they have to or the,
Yeah, yeah.
how's the retail going to work?
Okay. And then my final question is, you mentioned that we received 112 approvals from the residents, but were any of them non-approvals or?
Everything was in approval, support of the project.
Okay, no one was against it?
There's been nothing negative
Okay,
yet.
okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Jimenez?
Quick question, how much, what was the square footage that we lost in the commercial zoning from what it
Oh,
was
the square
originally to now?
footage? Square footage.
It was 42,
See the
42 acres. right?
acreage,
Acreage, so we have acreage, how much acreage did we lose?
yeah.
It was 42, right?
It's 42
Right.
overall after you do the rezoning.
How much was it before?
49? No. I think it's 49. I think it's 49.
Yeah, it was, well, there was 49, but see, there was a portion of that was business commercial too, or the BPO.
Do you know how much of it was just commercial?
I'm just gonna ballpark it and probably say like 18 acres, but don't, of what we lose. The applicant might have that number.
Yeah, it's like 49 acres.
The site's just over 49.
Yeah, and then rezone 42 for the light industrial. So you get 7 acres, 6.5 acres of commercial, down to 6.5 acres commercial.
We went from 42 to 6.5?
49 to 6.
We went from 49 acres to about 6.5.
No. Okay,
Well, rezoning for 42 acres of a 49.
here, hold on.
It was already 6, I think.
So we're rezoning 42 acres
42
is what we're, but 42 acres includes the
Commercial,
commercial and the business, right?
according to this. I think.
Yeah. See, because even if you go to that one, it's more than half, and then you go to the next one, and that's not representative of how much it is. Like, if we go to the next slide,
Yeah, because this part here existing is business park overlay, which becomes light industrial. But this part,
What's commercial?
to about right here, this is what you lose of commercial,
okay.
which is, I'm saying, probably about 18 or less. Do you have something?
Yes.
Good.
So if I can clarify, originally the commercial acreage was 23.19 acres, and we are proposing to,
6.9.
for this project, for the commercial component to be 6.95 acres.
Yeah,
Okay.
so roughly about that.
So we lost quite a bit.
You lost a chunk, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, can you go back to the plan where the commercial's on the top portion, please? The one with the little buildings and all, yeah.
This one just right here?
No, the one with the,
You
that
want
one.
this?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
it said that there was gonna be a car wash.
Yeah, here, let me just, this is the car wash right here on the hard corner. With the convenience fuel right here. This is 1.6 acres. And I forgot to mention, this, my dot right now, is there's a Starbucks that's already submitted a PR.
Okay.
And we had our meeting today on it, so you actually do have someone that's signed either a purchase agreement or a lease agreement to come in and to develop this. Because I know Starbucks, they always like to try to go for hard, everybody tries to fight for the hard corner, because, you know, it's the premium spot. So I know they have, I've been told that there are other serious potential vendors that are coming. And these right here are for the other drive-throughs, inline retail, then another drive-through.
Okay.
Does that red dot show up for you guys?
Yes, it does.
Okay. It's a new trick I learned.
The Little Center one, is that the one that you said was 6,000 square feet, about? The one that you said was like gonna be mixed, the little commercial that was gonna be broken into multiple lots or into multiple locations in between the two drive?
This one right here?
Okay, I don't see a red dot right now. That one, yes.
Yeah, this is supposed to be inline retail. We don't know who it is.
But it's about 6,000 square feet?
Yeah, I can't read it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I got from a closer one. Do you know what the average size is in the city for a sit-down restaurant or a different type of restaurant?
What,
The average, do you know?
you talking about like a nice restaurant or
Yeah.
just a quick restaurant for lunch or dinner?
Both.
Both.
We don't have that data per se. Maybe the applicant might know that. I know that they recruited some business and they could probably share that as part of their presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, it varies on the type of use too.
Yeah. Okay, and then the truck access, were we gonna do anything to make sure that they wouldn't go up to Ramona when they're exiting from either of those locations?
He would be a great person to
Yes.
answer that.
Yeah, we have the driveways reconfiguring the returns so that they won't be able to make right. They'd be forced to go south,
Okay,
not towards Ramona Expressway.
and then on Nevada, would they be able to go north? Is that a truck route?
That would be their truck route, correct.
Okay.
So they'd be allowed to go north, but only to the driveways to enter the site. Ingress and egress would be from Nevada, correct?
Okay, but they could go north when they're exiting.
No.
No.
They can only go left.
Correct.
Okay.
So all the truck access would be right in, left out.
Okay, and we're conditioning, we're building the sidewalks to,
The
Make sure
driveways,
that-
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
okay. And then I saw that the parkings were switched, so we have that auto access on the bottom instead of
Correct.
trucks.
Correct.
And it stated it was because to not negatively impact the school as much, and there's gonna be a 10-foot wall built there?
Correct.
Why 10 feet and not taller? Do you know?
Well, okay, on the plans, there's certain plans shown at 8.5, and then there was a detail that shows along there as at 10.
Okay.
And we had discussions, just talked to the applicant, and said, we're, obviously, as staff, we're gonna stick with the 10, and that it'd be decorative too, because it was just kind of a block wall, and it should have pilasters and end caps at least.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to add that they would negotiate with the school district, and to the south side, that's all auto parking. So the 10 feet would kind of minimize the view. There's also already a 14-foot high wall around the truck loading area, so that will screen the truck loading. So just, that's why it's 10 feet.
And not the 14, because
Not
there's no
for-
trucks there?
Yeah, no trucks there, it's just all auto, and then, like, if you go further up, there would be a 14-foot high wall, that's the reason why.
And there's also landscaping, right? There's trees and
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
things like that. Okay.
Okay. Vice Chair Shively, did you have any?
So, on the south side of the property where the school and athletic field is, what is the landscape buffer that's there? Minimum thickness?
Talking about the width of the planter?
The width of the landscaping? Yep, on the south side. Yep, down that area.
Yeah, oh, wait, hold on. It varies, from, looks like about 20 down to, and it tapers off as you get closer to Webster to about 5 feet. The applicant can explain
It
why
just,
such a layout.
one of it's just a property line, direction and then along down that portion too, in the landscape plan, it's, there's several trees there, but I guess the applicant, would the applicant be willing to add additional trees and increase the width of that buffer down on that south side would be a question. And then also increase the width of the buffer on the northern side too, where the drainage channel is supposed to go as well.
Okay.
And then, is there a substitute for trees that we can use instead of palm trees in that area? There's only supposed to be 7 palm trees, but is there a substitute for that that we can use? And then the final question I would have is, this plant palette, the tree palette, are these trees kind of designated? Are they best suited to be 1, drought tolerant, and 2, remove the most particulate matter from the trucks? Those are my questions.
Ann?
Vice Chair Shively would like to defer those questions to the applicant. They have
Yeah,
the
I know they
landscape
were going-
architect on
Oh,
board.
yeah, yeah. I didn't think he was going to be able to answer. Okay. Anything else, Jan?
No.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I just said thank you.
No, not you. I was just, because he's on Zoom, that's why I'm asking more than I usually would. Okay. Let's go back to the site plan or landscape plan. And not really so much, I'll save my comments on the architectural later, because that's discussion. But we need some clarification. I need some clarification on some things. Number one, we're going to start talking about a very important safety issue in Morgan in Nevada. I can't believe that there's not a three-way stop there. It's not acceptable. The truck traffic, and I go there a lot because Valverde's thing is right across the street and the high school's there. So if you're driving south, you're basically going whatever speed you want. You're coming out of the school at Morgan, there's a stop sign there. And we can see what's going to happen there if we as a city who do not want to be liable want to state at least, and look at the prospect and focus on at least a three-way stop sign. We know a signal's not warranted, but at least a three-way stop for safety purposes. If you're driving, I've driven down that area so many times. You drive down that street, frontage road or whatever, Nevada, you're driving and you're really just going. Okay? The people coming west trying to get on, you're talking about school people coming out, and they're going to have to turn left with trucks going south. So we're looking at it as a residence, and a commission, not so much developer. At least take it into consideration and focus on the need for at least a three-way stop. We know it doesn't merit a signal at this point, but at least a three-way stop, something where they have to stop there. Because you're talking students, and we have someone who's a teacher. Do you really want to put them in that kind of situation? You know, and trucks are not going to go between 6 a.m. and 6. They're going to be going all day. So you got to really watch that, and that's a consideration for us. And that's one of the things. Just take that down because I'm on the road here. That's one of the main things. I think in the landscaping things, number 55, we talked about shade tree. I don't know what that means. So shade tree, we need to be more clear. I think it's number 55 in the COA. What does shade tree mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is not major, but I think it's one of those things, and when we talk about the Paris summer, you really have to talk about shade trees. In fact, they had bougainvillea on there. That's a high maintenance thing on there. You may want to think about bougainvillea. You know, they go wild unless you really maintain it. Good luck.
They're pretty weed.
Yeah, it's pretty, but I think that's to go back to Vice Chair Shively's comment, I think this south has a 10-foot wall or a 14-foot wall to separate from Valverde.
South is 10.
Oh, 10. Okay, but it's 14 on the sides, on the east and west.
Yeah, screening the loading areas, the
Yeah.
total is 14.
Yeah,
And on the south PL, adjacent to the school, is 10.
interesting that the school would be lower. Okay. Okay.
I think it's also bermed up. I've seen so many exhibits that it's on
Okay.
top of a berm too.
Okay. Another technical question that you see on the map here, in the mid section for the commercial. I think we talked about a signal, but the signal would be a signal only that's internal. In other words, if you're turning out of there, there's a signal, but it's not a signal that's going to be on the other side. It's just something that from the it's not connecting to, unless there's some other development north that they're going to have a signal similar to the Nuevo project, where you come out by Sizzler and there's a signal there and there's a signal coming north and the signals on each side. That's a little different. We're just talking about a signal here, which
For the project, yeah.
you really can only turn right, right?
Chairman
So-
Hammond, if I may.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Actually, that is going to be a three-way signal. So it'd be a signal on Ramona Expressway and the main magazine or entry into the shopping center.
Okay, so a signal's proposed at Nevada, then a signal Midway, then another signal's already there at Webster.
Correct, which will be further modified.
Okay, that's interesting. It's necessary. The vehicles, obviously, the auto access vehicles can go north and south. That's the plan along Nevada. They can turn right and then turn left into the shopping center, whatever we want to call that, the gateway.
The driveway
Yes.
to the commercial
Yeah.
site on Nevada, that's restricted to right in, right out.
No, if you're coming Ramona and you're turning right in Nevada to go into that, you can turn left into that, or you just go to Ramona and turn in.
Actually, that movement is restricted due to spacing.
Okay, so you really can't,
Would be a,
you can't come from Nevada as a passenger vehicle and turn left into the lot. Okay.
correct, that movement is restricted.
So we're going to have a median there, or we're just going to have, you just won't be able to turn left there?
You won't be able, so we probably implement one of those pork chops at the driveway
Okay.
to restrict cars moving in, so we would only allow right in, right out.
Okay. But to be clear, if you're auto vehicle coming off Ramona Expressway, and that's another issue, coming off Ramona Expressway, turning right on Nevada, and you want to get into that Starbucks or whatever is in there, you can't turn left in there. You have to go down the Ramona and go on the Ramona side.
Correct, and you can use that signalized access, the main driveway access,
Okay.
and or go to Webster.
Okay. So there's going to be a median there to stop them from turning left? Because they're coming out, you say a pork chop to go right to go out, but it has to stop them from going left. Is there going to be a median?
Correct, it'd be, no, there is no median on Nevada, but there'd be a pork chop at the driveway to restrict
Okay.
that movement.
Okay. The prospect, I guess it's a prospect, and I don't want to belabor this. Typical if you're driving, you're going to want to go in, you're going to get off Ramona and turn left, right on Nevada. You're going to want to go into there to get to that Starbucks, right? If there's no barrier there, what's to stop them?
Well, there'd be a physical barrier, actually, be
In the street in Nevada?
No, at the
Ooh.
driveway.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay. So hopefully, if you won't have to do U-turn and go over. Okay, okay. I don't want to belabor that one.
A
but
hard,
that-
hard movement.
you know where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah, I think just from, our goal is for them to drive past Nevada and get to the main drive aisle,
Okay.
the signalized section to get into
Okay.
the site, or they can drive further down if they want to get to that car wash and gas station
Okay.
at the southern end and Webster. So there's two access points to get into the shopping center.
Okay. 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 I think that's it for me. And let's say you guys have any other questions for staff?
No, I do have a question for the applicant, though.
Okay. For the applicant.
So you're saying they can either, if they're gonna go to the locations on the left of the screen, they can use that main entrance? And if they're gonna use the last four, it would probably be more accessible to use Webster, right?
Correct. So
Okay.
that's the two options they have.
Okay, I, just because I was thinking if you use the main road and you wanna go left, like that's a lot of commingling of traffic in that one little location at the end of that entry driveway, but they can go to Webster and use that as a drive-in as well.
Correct.
drive-away.
And there should be a transition lane to get to the site to get out of the main traffic road.
Can we go back to the one the slide we were just looking at? That one.
Is this it?
Yes, yes. So is there gonna be an entryway for somebody to not have to drive through the gas station to get to where I guess potentially where that Starbucks was, is in negotiations? So that driveway on Webster.
Northeast corner.
Yes, the northeast corner on Webster. If I were to make a right in,
No.
Right here?
no, south,
Oh, okay,
and to the right. That entry, the driveway in, right there.
yeah.
That's like a gazebo.
So I would have to drive up.
Just want to be clear, there's past that main drive aisle, if you can kind of see it where Mr. Fenn said there's another driveway there too, just for right in, right out. So there's a few areas where they can get into the shopping center.
Oh, okay, so they don't necessarily need to go to Webster to get to the Starbucks.
Correct.
By the dot? Or
Yes,
If they
there
miss
is their
it, then
driveway.
go to Webster.
Okay. Engineer, I know we usually like to have a standard between driveways, especially because there is a signal at Webster and there's a signal at that main entryway. Are those how far away are those driveways from each other?
Well, there is a standard, you're absolutely right. There is a standard. However, if the access are restricted to right in, right out, and then here we have actual decel lane, accel lane, then we can allow some movement, but restricted movement to right in, right out only.
So that second driveway after the main entry point also has a deceleration and acceleration lane?
I'm trying to see all the driveways we permitted to the
I
site.
can't, it's-
I can't, yeah.
Yeah. That's right. The diesel axle lane would be contiguous along there. So it'd be additional lane, basically, allowing for those type of movements.
Okay, so it does extend to there, so if somebody missed
The signal,
the signal, they could still move into the deceleration lane and use that next entry point. Not that I
Correct,
ever do
correct.
that, not that I ever pass up where I want to go. Wondering for most people. Okay. I think that's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, I did have one more. Sorry, amenities for staff, would you,
We have 2 amenities for the industrial, condition for the building inside,
okay,
because that's required. And there are like the little amenities, you know, the outdoor dining patios and such, and landscape features throughout kind of the commercial. Try to kind of tie it on together,
okay,
even though it's kind of set up for fast food.
okay. So there isn't really any outdoor on the industrial side?
Oh, yeah, there is
Do you-
there's 2
Outside?
patio areas, and there's also like a area for bocce ball. Everybody says bocce ball or horseshoes.
And if somebody is exiting the industrial building and wants to go for a walk and cross over to the commercial, is that a possibility?
Yes, people are going to have to learn the patterns,
Okay,
but just, oops.
I'm thinking about safety for somebody crossing over, and as somebody who forgets their lunch a lot, I mean, this would be
You know, some
perfect if I
people
were.
have, you know, like, they would probably walk through this meandering sidewalk
All the way up.
area up to there. And,
So the only office area is at bottom right?
correct.
And employees cannot enter or exit anywhere else?
No, someone's playing with my thing. No. No, yeah, the auto access is, yeah, to the south on purpose. That's what you're talking
But
about, correct?
pedestrians?
Pedestrian is like from the south, walk their way up, or most likely they'll probably get in their car and run some errands and then get their Big Mac
Okay.
or whatever.
So there isn't a closer access point for employees to be able to just cross over and get some
Not
quick
that I see,
lunch?
not unless you
Okay,
can bring that up.
okay, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion with staff? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At this time, if there's a presentation, I know there is, from the applicant, please come forward, state your name and spell your last name for us.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name's Travis Duncan, D-U-N-C-A-N. I'm the VP of Development at DECA, project sponsor. Thank you, Doug, for handling the presentation. Nice job. I want to thank Patricia and Kenneth, John and Stuart, and all the city staff for guiding us through the process. It's been a marathon. We're very appreciative and excited to be here. Page down. All right, Doug did a good job orienting you, so I will skip this. I just want to say that just off screen here is that new Placenta interchange, which we will be using as our truck route. There was a question about you leave the facility, you head south, go to the Placentia, no right turn via the improvements to the driveway that he mentioned. Okay, I want to highlight a little bit of where this project has evolved for the better, thanks really to your feedback and that of other stakeholders. Oops. To highlight a few of the items on this page, at your suggestion at the scoping meeting, we continued to reach out to the school and the district, and as a result of their input, modified our site plan to not only route trucks on Nevada, provide some traffic calming measures on Nevada to slow down people, because we share your concern, as does the school share, and added that landscape barrier to the south of the project that physically separates us. It is on a berm. There's a detail on the plans we could show you if you want to see that, and then the wall on top of that. And as I hope you saw in the packet, both the high school and the school district have submitted letters of support for the project, and I believe Principal Dedeaux is here today to speak. Second, I'll just note that we did hear your feedback, Commissioner Lopez, at the scoping meeting, and I can confirm that we will be installing photovoltaics on the roof of the industrial building. So thank you for pushing us to do that. Much appreciated. A lot of discussion about retail, which is great. It's one of the most important pieces of this project from the very beginning, and something the community has been hugely supportive of and very clearly focused on, as you all are here today. As you can see here, we've actually contracted with retail partners to ensure that we bring some of the best-known brands to Ramona Gateway. Additional improvements along Ramona include, which was not mentioned here, widening Ramona on the north side and the south side to 3 lanes from Nevada to Webster, adding that new median you can see here, and other streetscape improvements. We know that everyone is wanting to see this built, not just planned. So staff has really pushed us to finish all these offsites, all the infrastructure, and actually open a retail business before we can get the keys to open our industrial building. All of that is outlined in the development agreement. Okay, I thought I'd show a couple of pictures. I'm a visual person, they help me. Here we are sort of exiting, like the exact question you guys were just asking here, the 215 at Ramona Expressway looking east. There's not much there today. Here we are sort of showing what that will look like, very heavily landscaped and really becoming, the gateway on Ramona, hence the project's name here, Ramona Gateway. As we go a little further east on Ramona, we get to Nevada, you can see what's there today on site. Not a whole lot. And when completed, this is the same image you saw earlier, sort of an enlivened Ramona Expressway, really activated. Notice the landscaping on both the right and the left in the new median, the widened street, the Welcome to Paris sign, which we're really excited about, shown here in the median. And it's a little bit hard to see here, but I want to make sure you're aware that there is a multi-use path along the entire perimeter of the site. So to answer your question, Commissioner Jimenez, an employee would be able to take that path from, the exit of the building all the way up to that retail, as well as staff and students at Principal Dedeaux School. Okay, entering the retail, you all have seen this image, and then our retail concepts within. I want to zoom in a little bit here on infrastructure. And there's a lot going on here. So a couple of items I just want to draw your eye to. Doug mentioned the pink, which is that 2,400 linear feet of 60-inch storm drain. That does connect to the infrastructure on Ramona, as well as 2,000 feet of that overflow channel, which is 40 feet wide, which is part of the reason why we're set so far back from Nevada and Ramona. I mentioned the multi-purpose path, which you can see in green here, fully surrounding the perimeter of the site. And I will just mention back on water infrastructure for just 1 second, that this is really solving a regional problem. Right now, when it rains, all the water from west of our project site comes underneath the 215 and just floods Nevada. This solves that problem by putting that water crossing under the street and then pushing it into the infrastructure at Ramona and Webster. Those improvements really dramatically improve safety, which is really important. Okay, I mentioned this, and I just want to draw your attention to the black dot at the upper left here. That's where the traffic calming will go in. There's one of these north of Nevada, Morgan, and one of these south of Morgan to do exactly what you were driving at, Commissioner Hammond, slow people down on Nevada. In total, all this infrastructure and offsite items cost over $7 million, and they are a big part of why we think this change in land use is really sensible. The industrial portion of the project is able to support these costs while finally unlocking the retail along Ramona. Commissioner Jimenez, your questions about the transition from commercial, how much do we lose? I'd sort of posit with my biased hat on that we're actually gaining retail here because there's nothing there today. We're finally able to unlock that and sort of avoid what's happened to the north. And we actually do think, there was a question about the three-way signal, that eventually that will be a four-way signal. And by widening Ramona and adding that traffic signal, it's going to help unlock additional retail to the north. And that's going to be a follow-on effect. It's not related to our project, but it's another benefit that we're sort of working on. This is a pretty large project, so we'll be creating not only 1,400 jobs during the construction phase, but also enables nearly 1,000 full-time jobs across retail and industrial. I'm very pleased to be able to share that we've signed a project labor agreement with the carpenters, the laborers, the ironworkers, and the plumbers. As you all know, these are high-paying jobs with great benefits, and I think you'll hear from a couple of those folks tonight. During our outreach process, we really saw an opportunity here to help across the job spectrum, and we look for ways to sort of expand our reach. For high school students, we're partnering with the Valverde Unified School District Career and Technical Education Program, providing a $200,000 grant that literally retools a classroom that today is defunct. It used to be for cabinet making. And we're going to transform that into a construction skills class. Just a great partnership that's really synergistic with our project. For those folks early in their career, we have a variety of entry-level jobs in both the retail and the industrial, along with opportunities for advancement into managerial roles. Finally, you may have noticed a very specific number in our contribution to the city. That number is based on closing the hard cost funding gap for the Downtown Skills Training Center. It's almost $800,000. As you're aware, that Skills Center provides resources to help develop the local workforce needed to support a very robust economy in the region and in Paris. Our partnership with the trades, the high school, the Skills Center will help provide vocational training and internship opportunities and enable long-term career growth. We think this approach is a bit unique. And to be honest, Doug mentioned it, we're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in this ladder of job opportunities that we've been able to sort of help and encourage. To conclude, I just wanted to summarize the outreach that we've done over the course of the project. In addition to outreach to local neighbors, noticing, we've met with the school many times, the districts, the Riverside County Office of Education. We presented to Valverde High School's site council, which includes students, parents, teachers, Chamber of Commerce. I'm listing a lot of things here. The Village of Avalon HOA incorporated all their feedback along the way. That's why in total, we received nearly 120 supporter cards. That's what this fat stack is right here, which we're very proud of and pleased with. They were included with your packet. And then on the right-hand side of this slide, we mapped where those people came from, their addresses, they submitted on their card to show you that there's incredible widespread support for this project across the city. With that, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you again for staff for all the hard work to get us here. Our whole team is available for all your questions. You have great ones, and we're happy to be helpful in answering those. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And we'll move it right along. I know we're going to have questions, so also be cognizant we got quite an audience today. So, whoever would like to start first, we're going to open it up for, just for the developer. We're just asking for the developer, not public comment. So are there any questions for the applicant? I would say the word applicant. Any questions for the applicant at this time? Whoever would like to start? Yeah. As always, please.
Thank you for the inclusion of the solar panels. I was just curious, will the entire industrial building be powered by them, or is it going to be like partially?
Yeah, it's a great question. The office will be powered by them. That's the most energy-intensive part of the building by far, and we'll size that system so that it offsets the needs of that office space.
And what is the percentage of the office space to the whole building? Do you know?
I don't know it by percentage. It's pretty small. It's roughly 10,000 square feet. It's about an 850,000 square foot footprint of industrial building. Somebody with a calculator could probably do that. I can't do it in my head.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's a small amount. But thank you. I really appreciate the inclusion of that. Last question. Considering two factors, that the land is zoned for commercial and business park, and that there's a sensitive receptor right adjacent to the project site, how did your team come up with the conclusion that an industrial building would be the best option for that land? And did you guys consider doing commercial or business park for that area?
Yeah, great question. So on the commercial to start, we sort of looked at the existing zoning, and actually our retail brokerage team is here, who's doing the outreach to the individual users. And we spent a lot of time trying to find a big anchor tenant that would help fill up. It's a ton of area zoned for retail today. And ultimately, we couldn't find one. We spent a lot of time with the grocers in particular looking for somebody to help us fill that space. And ultimately, the feedback that team got, Jay and Chase, was those folks want to be by rooftops, by residential homes. And because this part of Paris doesn't have a lot of residential, there really wasn't enough demand, if you will, for that type of large commercial use. Second answer to your first question. We really think the mixed use nature of the project unlocks both things. the industrial provides jobs and property taxes, and is the kind of like strong entity that can carry the burden of that infrastructure, which is, it's hard to describe here very quickly, but there's a very big infrastructure burden on this that needs a strong sort of use to be able to support it. And we know how important the retail is along Ramona, and we're excited to be part of bringing both of those projects forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Jimenez?
Okay, thank you for your presentation. When you were going around and doing presentations, was there any mention of what type of restaurants would be put in? Was it clear that it was going to be mostly drive-through restaurants?
Oh, yes, it absolutely was. Many of the folks, I'm going to go backwards and show you the slide that I've shown to many people, which is this one. So these have been out here, and actually our retail partners, the people who are going to implement these brands are here today and have submitted letters and are excited to move this forward. I think the feedback we got most often when we were giving that presentation on retail was really excitement. And I think, maybe I could request Principal Dedeaux to talk about the excitement she and her staff has about having food options that are really close by. And this has been known, and people are really excited about it. And the combination of the work on Ramona to make traffic flow through there a little bit better and provide food options in an area that's like a little bit underserved today has been very, very, very well received by the community and the stakeholders we've spoken to.
Okay. And then how wide is the walking path? You said it was like really nice. It was a beautiful picture. Do you know how wide? It's a meandering walkway.
I sure do. It's exactly the same, actually, as the second project. It's an 8-foot wide concrete path, and then 2-foot wide DG, desiccated gravel, on both sides, in total for 12 feet. So it's very similar. Ours is a bit more meandering, which Doug pointed out. We like the feel of that.
I do too.
But it's the same sort of profile of the path itself.
Okay, so still getting the bikes off the road, keeping everybody safer. Is there going to be a buffer, a landscape buffer between that walkway?
Yes.
It looked like there wasn't a picture.
There is absolutely a buffer between the roadway, the path, and then, before the parking starts, 100%.
Okay. That's it for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Vice Chair Shively?
So my questions were, what is the minimum depth of the landscaping that we have on the south side of the property and the width of the landscaping that we have between the buffer of the business zone and the light industrial zone that we're looking to use? What's the width that's currently there and what's planned?
Yeah, Commissioner Shively, I understand your first question, which I think is about I'm repeating it to make sure I've got it right. It's the distance between the property to the south and the wall that was in question. That's the question, sir. I feel like I'm talking to the voice of God here.
That's the
Okay.
question.
That's funny. Okay, in your packet, and I pulled it because I thought maybe this question would come up. It's sheet A1-4P. I have no idea which PDF page that is. I ripped it out. It shows in a bit more detail, and I'm happy to bring this up to you and pass it around so you can see it. The answer to your question, though, is it ranges from about 25 feet on the western edge to about 15 feet from the wall to the start of the parking lot. I couldn't quite tell if your question was about the distance to the start of the parking lot or to the building itself.
To start the parking lot.
Yeah, so about 15 feet at the narrowest. And I will say that there's 2 rows of trees there. And then importantly, the school property is not directly to our south. There is a channel of sorts that's about 40 feet wide that further separates our property from the school's property. And I do want to pass this around because the top left image shows the berm to give you a sense of how that works in section. And I apologize, Commissioner Shively. You may have to find that on your own. I'm not sure I can physically show this to you.
If you can just let me know where it's at again. I have the plans here in front of me.
I'm going to hope Commissioner Lopez can do that when he has the piece of paper.
said A1 4P.
Commissioner Jimenez.
Okay, Commissioner Shively?
I'm actually looking at the
Oh.
drawing right here.
Okay.
That's the question I had for the applicant.
Oh, okay.
And I think actually the one I actually had is, do you know if the landscaping palette is consistent of some of the trees that are best suited to remove or particulate matter from the vehicles?
Okay. Well, I'm only talking loud because we don't see you. So was that it?
That was my second question.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. I'll make it quick. So, oh, go ahead.
Another question. I don't know how far back you've been listening to us, but we're not big fans of palm trees. Yes. We got rid of some, and there's actually another location where we actually requested that they replace them. So is that a request that you would be willing to?
Maybe I'll ask my landscape architect to come up to talk about potential replacement trees for those.
As always, state your full name and spell your last name.
Robert Curley, Curley. We only have 7 Phoenix palms on this project. There's, I think it's 3 on the hard corner of Webster and Ramona, and 4 going down the center aisle down the center. And I understand your desire, but they're also very functional and for wayfinding. When you have a driveway or drive access with a center median, any lower canopy tree ends up looking like a box shape over the years as it grows. Because all the box trucks will trim it. They'll self-trim it. Whereas the high canopy of a palm, and we're talking a 20-foot trunk day one on a Phoenix palm, which is a substantial, virtually a full-grown palm in a sense, gives a nice canopy over the drive, great wayfinding that that denotes where you pull in and the trucks can't trim it. And we try and make the landscape and the design of the trees and the plant palette and the shrub palettes, and you mentioned bougainvillea, sustainable. And I'd like the landscape to be sustainable for at least 20-plus years and maintainable by a landscape crew. So that's the reason for the palms. We've limited them, but they are for wayfinding, so people know that is a significant drive to come into, and also so trucks don't hit them and trim them.
Which happens a lot. My husband owns a big rig, so I know how that works. Are they going to be lit or anything, just for aesthetics at night? I've seen a lot of them have that lighting coming up, because I hear your point. That's where you turn. Now we have the turn signal, and if they're really make it pop, I'm thinking, I've seen it in a lot of really nice places. So I don't know if that's something you're open to.
The concept we're certainly open to. I think Robert's point on wayfinding is really important, and I think particularly you all's conversation around some of the challenges, if you will, around the ins and outs and where you can turn and where you can't turn. Wayfinding is perhaps more important in this case, and the idea of lighting those trees to make sure they're visible seems prudent.
So if Robert can come back up real fast, to achieve a 20-foot high palm tree, how long does that take? And then after it reaches that 20-foot length, how long is that palm tree expected to live?
Well, they're still growing out in Palm Desert in the groves where these would be most likely pulled from, and they get upwards of 35 feet. It depends. The ultimate growth of a tree depends on where it's put. So you could read the Sunset Western Garden Book, and it'll tell you a tree gets 40 feet tall by 40 feet wide in its native environment, not necessarily in a parking lot that has a heat sink or other factors the amount of soil area that's exposed to transfer oxygen and water to the plant roots. So, but the palms, they grow about a foot a year, up to about 35. I mean, they say they go 70 feet. Very, very rare do they get that big. 35, 40 feet, and they're about topped out. And that's it. And they just kind of start slowing down from that point on.
So are there trees that are better suited to remove particulate matter?
That's an interesting question. I had never had that asked before. And I'll say there are. However, they either don't grow here in this environment or they're very heavy water use. They are not in any way drought tolerant aside from a California oak tree. But we do have Quercus virginiana, which is not the native oak, but is another subspecies. But actually, all trees remove particulate matter by what happens is the particulates land on the leaves, and the stoma on the backside of the leaf takes care of the particulate matter. So all trees contribute. There are some that are way better, but we can't grow them here. So that's where we go.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to prolong this. They've asked a legitimate question. I think my main concern really maybe is more of an external concern is, and it may be the developer to the left, is traffic coming off Ramona and turning right there. Now, if there's 3 lanes there that are planned, it's one thing. But if you're showing 3 or 4 lanes there, but if that's Caltrans or something there, you're gonna have a problem. Okay, so if they're turning right and they can only go east and come in at that middle point, that's one thing. But you know what people are gonna do? They're gonna turn right on Nevada and try to go in, and they're gonna find it's a pork chop, whatever that is, and they're not gonna be able to come in. So they're gonna U-turn and go out. So it's this. I drove from Ramona Expressway because we live here, and you drive there, and you're lucky you don't get pounded in the back. Just making a right turn. So frontage is one thing, but that other thing is another consideration. The other thing we talked about earlier was that Morgan Street and the other intersection as a focus to look into that. Is that something we'd be willing to at least look at? We're not, it's a consideration, but it's a safety consideration, and especially for school stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing, lastly, and we'll make it quick because we have a lot of people. I'll get into more of the discussion time because that's more about aesthetics, because it's something that's going to really throw you about the buildings, but I'll leave it for that. For those 2 issues, that's a concern, and it's kind of an overall concern. The property next door, the property down the street, but if there's going to be a signal there, that deceleration lane or something might be some consideration at Nevada. Since I'm not sure from Nevada back to the freeway when you go that overpass. If you've ever been that overpass, it can really get packed up. And if there's that only lane there and you got that little strip, look out.
I hope I mentioned it. We are adding a signal at Ramona and Nevada, and there are acceleration, deceleration lanes east of that to get into the center meeting. I hear your concern about the left turn in totally, and I think we can work with the city engineer and sort of help design that process. On the Morgan and Nevada question, happy to look at that and study it with our traffic engineer, the city's traffic engineer, and see what's warranted. We're all aligned, everybody here wanting that safety to be paramount, and should that warrant it, happy to move forward.
Yeah, we pretty much know a signal, but you have school people here. Think of the school kids. You turn left out of there, and there's a truck going 50 miles an hour. I don't want to be a part of saying, "Oh, it's okay," and then, if there's a stop sign, at least you have a police officer can write tickets thing, right? So if you're just going to go straight, and we know we don't drive the speed limit in Paris, but let's stop lying, okay? You're going 50 or 60, and you have a truck, and it's going by the school, and you're turning as a parent going out of there. Who's going to win?
Yeah, we totally agree with you.
Exactly.
And that's traffic calming as the start of that. The warrant analysis is a great idea. And I don't know how we do this, but collectively, a little more enforcement along Nevada would be a good idea too. And point me in the right direction, and I'll see if I can get it done.
Okay, I'm done with that.
Was there a traffic study done? Because coming southbound on 215 and making a left, there really isn't a lot of
You're right.
no turning left when you're heading southbound.
Me from going this way and then turning left?
Yeah, when you're getting
Taking out
off.
Nevada.
Yeah. That, there isn't a lot of distance between making that left and the entry point for the 215 north. So it usually bottlenecks there anyways. With something like this, did you analyze that? I know that's part of the environmental impact and traffic flow and impact.
Yeah, I think I'm going to bring up our traffic engineer who did the traffic study for this to answer that question. I don't know the
I know,
answer.
but it backs up because I always get off, and if you're in that inside lane and you go left,
I know what you mean, yeah.
yeah.
I will just say one thing, and then we'll let Charlene talk about that, is the project is contributing $500,000 to the improvements of the 215 and Ramona, and the 215 and Harley Knox, thank you, which I assume the dollars that are going into that fund are to help alleviate that, although I can't say for certain.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Charlene So, SO with Urban Crossroads. We did do a traffic study and we did look at operations analysis of the two ramps. Signal timing is actually controlled by Caltrans because the ramp itself is a state facility. So we did obtain traffic signal timing directly from Caltrans and use that as part of the analysis, and so the analysis takes all that into account. But changing the timing is something that we can recommend it, but it's not something that can be enforced because it has to go through the state.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I do highly suggest what Chair Hammond is saying with the traffic with the high school, having a daughter who just started driving in December, and being an inexperienced driver, and that makes them panic. And I know the Riverside, DMV actually has a lot of novice drivers failing because of that, because they don't know how to navigate traffic with big rigs and those kinds of things. So really, please looking at that just from a teacher and parent standpoint.
Okay, thank you very much. And at this time, we will move to public comments. I've got a series of things in front of me, and I'm going to, oh, another one, okay.
Commissioner Hammond, before you take public comments, I just want to read into the record. You should have gotten an email at the
I was trying to do
commissioners.
that, yeah, okay.
Just want to note that you're going to do that. Okay, perfect.
Thank you for being on top of it. Okay, yeah. We did receive an email. The city also received an email. I'm going to keep it brief. It's sent to the City of Paris, February 15, 2023, part of the public comments from, well, it says from subject Planning Commission, item 7C. I'm trying to think of the name here. Oh, Guadalupe Mercado was the one that sent it Tuesday the 14th. So I'm just introducing it. And I'm not going to read it, but it's part of the public comments, and it was an urge to support the project. Okay, so I'm just reading that into record, and I think you have a copy of it, Lupita. Okay. Okay, let's start with IT. Do you have any public comment with the IT?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna save this. Okay, I've got a list of names. I'll just go down the list, and if I mispronounce it, forgive me. Okay. To address the commission, we have Speaker Jose Redillo. I'm saying it right. Padillo, from Leuna. Anyone who wishes to address the planning commission regarding these items on the agenda may do so at this time. Walk up to the podium as he's doing, and you have 3 minutes to address the planning commission on this topic. Okay. And listening devices, we also have an interpreter in the room. Okay. Just had to make sure she's awake. Okay. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jose Redillo, Radillo, and I am a proud union member of LIUNA, Labor International Union of North America. And I am in support of this project. It was a project just like this 19 years ago that gave me a second chance in life. I have matured, and now I am a productive member of society. LIUNA has enabled me to obtain the skills needed to succeed in today's economy, creating a pathway into society, bridging the gap between poverty and middle class. Yet I am certain that this project will present someone else that same opportunity. This project will create jobs for the community. This project will give work to our skilled train or workforce. It will give our apprentices the hours needed for them to graduate to become journeymen. I 100% approve of this project moving forward. I implore you also to support this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm not going in particular order. It's just what happens to be in front of me, okay? Okay, you have to help me with it. I'll say Mr. Alabase. I'm not sure if it's food. You have to pronounce your first name for me and help me. You can spell your name, say your first name, last name, and spell your last name for us.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Rumsey Alabasi, Alabbasi. My family and I were contractors in the city, and we also own the shopping center Caddy Corner to the northeast, including the gas station. My office is there, so I work there 5 days a week, pretty much 50 hours a week. We originally reached out, Travis originally reached out to us, and he did a fantastic job of that, reaching out to us and really the community. I really want to commend him on that. And originally when he reached out to us, our biggest concern was we didn't want to see a gas station there. The area is very oversaturated. I don't think we need another gas station there, but after talking to him, we actually ended up entering in a contract to purchase it from them. So we will be building a gas station there, and we came up with I think a unique solution to that issue of having oversaturation. The existing gas station on the northeast, we're going to be kind of reconfiguring it to add alternative fuels there. So that way it's not just another gas station. That will kind of ease up, I think, the oversaturation a bit. And so yeah, that's how we're going to be addressing the gas station concerns. As owning the gas station there, ideally on this side, yeah, I would love to see apartments or shopping center. I don't think apartments are ever going to be built there next to the freeway. I think definitely the best use of that is probably industrial to the south. And as they mentioned, it really unlocks the retail in the north. And working there, like I said, 5 days a week, there's really a shortage of food. Sit-down restaurants would be great, but even fast food, there's really no options. I think probably there's 3 fast food restaurants in the whole north side of Paris along that stretch there. So seeing even additional fast food options, I think, is a great bring to the city. And I think it's really great how they're developing the retail concurrently with the industrial, because as we saw on the north side of Ramona Expressway, which is just right across the street from them, that was supposed to be retail, and it's just still dirt there, never got developed or anything. So it's really great to see that they're doing this all in one. And as I mentioned, we're under contract with it, so they do have deliverable dates to us. So this is going to be built all in one phase, and we know that. And as soon as they start the industrial, they're going to be delivering to us the gas station parcel, and I believe all the other retail parcels. So I think they are committed, to developing this all in one phase. And I think it's a really great project overall. And I think the developers, like I said, did a great job reaching out to the public and incorporating everybody's comments and concerns, including our own. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Next, we have Omar Kolian. You can help me with that. I won't get an award for announcing names.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Omar Kobian, and I'm a representative for the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. I stand before you representing over 5,000 union carpenters that live in Riverside County. Our industry consists of projects like this one before you today. These projects put food on our table, they pay the bills, they provide a good union wage. But one of the most important things this project will allow our members is the opportunity to work closer to home. What does that mean? That means being able to make the dance recital for our daughters. That means being able to go to our kids' Little League game and even possibly get an opportunity to coach. Not to mention the hundreds of cars that will be off the road driving to Los Angeles and back. That offset of even cars on the road being closer to home. This developer has made a commitment to ensure that they're hiring responsible contractors that pay a good wage, medical, vacation pay, and even a pension. And these days, you don't really hear that too often. They've made a commitment to provide over $200,000 to a CTE program within the Val Verde High School. Tomorrow in our local union, we actually have the Hemet Unified School District CTE program with students and their parents visiting our local to possibly get an opportunity to become a union carpenter. Putting $200,000 towards a program like this is huge. It's an opportunity to them to actually build a shop. Some of the schools in Hemet don't have a big shop. I know Val Verde High School does, but now they can actually bring the skills and the trades back into those schools. It's far too long that we've been missing that. In closing, I would like to thank the commissioners for your time and for your consideration of approval for this project. Thank you.
And I thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm going right down the list. There's a Stacy Dudeau. I hope I pronounced that right. At least close, huh? I'm no good. I'm trying to.
You did get it. I've had
Okay.
every iteration of my last name, so congratulations. It's Stacy Dedeaux, spelled D-E-D-E-A-U-X. All right, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Stacy Dedeaux. I am the proud principal of Val Verde High School and Val Verde Academy. Over the last 2 years, I do have to commend DECA. They have worked with my site, with me, with my district office extensively to really address concerns and questions we had about this project, as our school is located directly to the south of this proposed project. I can tell you that we've had several conversations that started off with Zoom. We've looked at several design plans. They have come on multiple occasions to walk my school with me, to talk about concerns that I have, to just make sure that my students are not going to be negatively impacted in any way. I can tell you that they've met with my school site council, several parents. My parents had tons of questions for them and actually held them over a little longer than they had anticipated. But overall, student, parent, community, and district staff is all in favor of this project. We are extremely excited about the opportunities to partner. I can tell you that they are donating $200,000 to my school to provide funding to expand an existing construction program that we have. I'm really excited about offering my students a facility that will then allow them to take their carpentry skills to the next level and hopefully partner with Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters to get some of my students on. I can also say that my district facilities director, Ms. Stacy Strotterman, has met with DECA and has really gone through all of the ins and outs of improving Nevada and making sure that our traffic is a little safer there. So thank you for considering that for our students and our staff, because that street can get a little crazy. We're also very excited about the road improvements that are going to be brought to Nevada, because there is an issue with flooding along Nevada that butts up right against my school. That does cause issues when we have these. We don't have rain very often, but when we do have it, it does impact my students and my families trying to get to and from school. So I can tell you that we're really excited about the road improvements. In terms of the proposed landscaping, they did walk the back of my school site, went into the classrooms, and looked out to see what what the potential student view would look like. From an administrator perspective, I did tell them that I was concerned about any dense landscaping that might provide a hiding spot for students. Okay, I do have high school students, and so I think that they were really responsive to some of our concerns. While I understand, and I don't have as much experience with landscape planning, I can tell you that the existing landscape that they brought to you today, I think, was in response to some of our concerns.
Okay.
So we're grateful for this project, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can introduce, I think there was do you want them to do a 3-minute or make a presentation?
There is Alan Lynch, who's also on Zoom, and he would like to speak on this project.
Okay. If you're on Zoom, just spell your full name, state your name, spell your name for us since you're on Zoom and spell your last name for us.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Alan Lynch, ALLENLYNCH. I am president of LGI Real Estate Group. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to speak tonight. Our company has been the developer of several million square feet of retail throughout the Western United States, and we are a big believer in the retail potential of this part of the Inland Empire. In fact, we are currently finishing development of a new grocery anchored center just north in Moreno Valley with Aldi, Starbucks, Habit, and Quick Crack Car Wash. We are very aware of the community's strong interest in retail amenities in this area. And my team is under contract to purchase one of the retail lots from DECA for an exciting new Starbucks development. City planners speak of a third place in our community, which is neither home nor job, but a neutral public space where people can meet on equal terms. Starbucks, as you know, have become that third space in many communities, and this is part of why customers are always so excited to have Starbucks in the community. We have all, as you've already heard tonight, we have already submitted to the planning department for preliminary site plan review. So I know as the commissioners in the community are very interested in having the retail come online quickly. I think this is a good demonstration of DECA's push and the commitment of Starbucks to be part of the early development of this project. We are anxious to get going. We have also worked closely with the DECA team over the last several months and have been impressed with their focus on strong co-tenancy, best-in-class type of food and service retailers, as well as what you've seen tonight, the high-quality design that will mark all elements of this project. We know how important strong retail will be as part of this entire master plan, and we're excited to be a part of it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, but as I said, we look forward to bringing a new Starbucks to your community.
Thank you very much, sir. Is anyone else IT?
No, sir.
Okay. Anyone else in the audience wish to address? Oh, okay. At this time, I know it's getting late. Oh, wait a minute. Just state your full name and spell your last name for us.
My name's Alan Robertson. Last name is Robertson. I'm here to show some support for the project. I am developing a few retail projects in the city of Paris, which are in various stages of planning. We're real excited about retail in this city and excited to move forward on this project as well. Our company is purchasing, excuse me, our company is purchasing one of the, excuse me, we're purchasing one of the proposed retail pads. Our intent is to build a drive-through restaurant on this pad as soon as possible. If approved, I'm excited to bring another great restaurant tenant to the city. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay. We close the public comment portion, unless there's someone else. We close the public comment portion and close the public hearing and move on to commissioners' discussion. It can get interesting when we get in. And okay.
So right off
Commissioner
the bat,
Lopez.
This is Commissioner Lopez.
This is for her.
Right off the bat, my biggest concern was with this project was the loss of the commercial and business park zoning. I've expressed it before in previous meetings that the city is very limited in what little commercial we have, and we have as of right now we have a lot of light industrial zoning. So it's a little disappointing seeing more light industrial and the loss of commercial. I do understand that there wasn't effort, but I would have liked to see a greater effort to push for those type of projects, commercial or business park. My second concern was the school, of course, the health and safety of the students. No matter how big of a buffer and how many trees we plant in that area towards the school, The kids are gonna breathe in those fumes and those toxins that are gonna come from the trucks. It's inevitable. That's just one of my concerns. But on the flip side, my hat's off to the applicant because I feel like they went above and beyond when it came to what, the commercial side of the project that they presented to us. They went above and beyond, and they paid attention to details. They included lots of landscaping and included the solar panels for the industrial part of the project. And I feel like that alone is paving a way for future projects in our city. So, I mean, of course, there's for that business part. I think the commercial area is going to be great inclusion for the Ramona Expressway. I just would have liked to see a greater effort for commercial building. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Jimenez.
Again, I want to echo thank you to the applicant for going above and beyond. I know I was one of the main pushers for, I was asking who you talked to at this place, who you talked to at this place, because I know the people that I work with. So I was like, what is the principal's name? Who's the person that you contacted at the district? So I was really happy even to see Ms. Dedu here today, because that really shows that you really went, contacted, make those connections. So not only do you know her name, she's a guest. I do still have some concerns with the loss of commercial. And the form that was submitted that a lot of the applicants just signed, they're not necessarily letters, they're little check marks. And this was promoted as, I support the Ramona Gateway Commerce Center. It's not an industrial program, it's a commerce center. It also says, it brings new retail and commercial amenities to North Paris, 1,000 plus permanent local jobs, $200,000 to the Valverde High School Career and Technical Education Program, $750,000 plus to the Paris Downtown Skills Training and Job Placement Center, and more than $7 million in infrastructure and improvements such as floodwater control infrastructure, traffic improvements, bike lanes, walking trails, landscape improvements, and $33 million of revenue to the city of Paris. And people were having check marks. Nowhere in there is there any mention of industrial. So that is a little bit concerning, because I don't know if I read this just as a third party and I said, oh, it's a commerce center. To me, that means only commercial. I don't know if it was really explicit. I wish there would have been a checkbox saying, yes, I understand that, there's going to be rezoning, there's going to be loss of commercial, there's going to be loss of things. So I wish I would have seen that, because it says yes to the Ramona Gateway Commerce Center. So I know that's part of marketing and advertising. I really would have liked to see, yes, I understand that this is going to happen. I'm very conflicted with this one, because we need that infrastructure, we need that flood control, we need all these things. It's essential. We're thinking about our students being safe, but if they're having to drive in flood water and can't even get to school, is that really keeping them safe? So I'm very, very conflicted with, and especially with rezoning. I am not at all a big fan of rezoning. Every time we talk to any community member, they say no more warehouses, no more car washes, no more gas stations, no more drive-through restaurants, and yet this is what we're providing them, which is a little bit hard. I am happy about the Starbucks there, because when we meet at the district office, I'm always the one stuck getting coffee on my way in. Now that there's one there, people can pick it up for me and not me have to drive out of my way. And the restaurants, it is hugely accessible. I think my hopes for this, and I'm also conflicted because we like to set the bar with the first thing. Because if we allow one group of people to do something, then that kind of sets a standard. That's what you know as a teacher. If you let one kid get away with something, everybody has the same opportunities. So I wish we would have had a lot more retail. I was looking up average kitchen size. So for the 6,000 square foot lot, the average kitchen is about 500 square feet. So it's not a lot of retail that's available. We have a lot of drive-through restaurants, which are needed in that area. Very limited retail. So I don't know if this is exactly what we need when we're hearing from our constituents that what they want is more sit-down restaurants. They want more retail, a grocery store, things like that, especially going into the city. It's quick to stop there. If there was a small grocery store, you could just stop there, pick up something for dinner. You can pick up your groceries on the way home. But there was a lot of effort put in on behalf of the applicant. I like seeing, people from Liuna and our Carpenters Association. I saw some of them even brought their babies in today, which is nice because if you're local, you're able to spend more time. So I saw some little ones in the audience today. Hope they're not asleep yet or not fun. I saw a little girl and a little boy. So good job to the parents for bringing them in, and I'm glad you're able to do that, which is another conflict for me because as a parent, I understand you want to spend time with your family, you want to spend time with your babies, be there for them, participate in their activities, and this applicant is giving that opportunity. So I'm very, very, very conflicted with this development for all those reasons.
If I could just comment real quickly, we got the full flyer from the developer. It does identify the industrial. I just want to make that, we can pass it out. So I just wanted to make, before I do that, just want to comment.
Hey, thank you. Vice Chair Shively.
So, thank you. Again, I've never been a component of taking BPO land and converting it to light industrial. Never been a component of it and probably would never, ever be a component of it. However, I've listened to everybody that has come up and spoken to us today. Not one of them is here against the project, and everybody, we have Zoom that they can attend and voice their opinions against this project, and not one of them here has done so. So there's looking, and I really appreciate Mrs. Ditto coming up and presenting this for us. I know that she's going to receive some funds for her project, and I think that project is going to be very needed in the community, as well as what the funds for the city may be going to help benefit our construction project that we're looking to do. But that's not the component that I'm really looking to address. What I'm looking to address is the portion of the land that's going to remain business professional. I do wish there was some more components in there for a shopping or mercantile center. I think one of the largest buildings that's there that's not a restaurant is something like 9,000 square feet. Hardly a size for a decent mercantile to be able to provide people coming home off from Ramona Expressway to do some decent shopping and pick up some groceries on the way home, which is a very much needed component in the northern part of the city of Paris. It's I'm still hoping for one of those days that someone will step forward and actually develop a large parcel to be able to provide a shopping center with grocery stores that can provide the amenities and services for the northern half of northern portion of the city of Paris. If I can go into some of the architecture of the building, I think it can be definitely improved upon, and I hope as we move forward too that the staff will work with the applicant as well as to improve some of the elements of the building itself. So that's my concerns at this moment.
Thank you very much. And I promise to keep it brief, under 2 hours. No. I can say emphatically that this is the #1 project in 20 years I've ever seen. and I don't say that lightly. I've seen developers come, some of them were jerks, I'm being very honest. Some of them were morons, but this is the best presented project, period, in the 20 years I've been on this commission. No one can say that but me. And I will find a dot, I will find a T if there's something like the intersection of Morgan. I'm going to find it, but I have no arguments. There's several things that happen. I'm going to keep it brief. Number one, they did what we told them to do, the community support. A lot of them don't do that. They went to the community. Every developer from now on, I don't care the next one that comes the next month, you need to go to the community because they're the ones going to be impacted. If you don't do that, don't waste your time coming here. Number two, the city, yes. The city did a great job of putting together a development agreement, and they're upfront with everything. See, I like transparency. This is a transparent community. As you can see, we talk about everything. Transparency is key. So let's put it up front. This is what we're going to do. We call it community benefit, call it what you want, but up front, this is what we can do. And they talked to the school, it got people on board. That's what we talked about several meetings. You need to get in the community. Some of them, okay, then you have all these complaints when you get to the commission meeting. When you do the community, not everyone's going to agree all the time, but at least you do the work that you need to do. And that's what, regardless of how we think, you got to do it. This is a perfect example of what you're supposed to do. Now, you have to record that because you may never hear me say this to anybody else. Top notch, A quality. This is the sample. Everybody should follow this sample. I'm telling this to staff because we're really tough up here about standards. And I'm going to throw one at you anyway, just to be fun. I'm looking at the commercial development. This is the last thing because we're getting late. The commercial development, my only concern is the architectural coloring and design looks fourth rate. It would be nice to have more stone veneer. Look at some of the ones like Canyon Springs, beautifully designed. Just look at that. The colors are not matching the building behind you. They're not matching the blue design, the grays. These are coming in. Go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and that thing, and it's grays. That's the common in blues. This one is tan. Okay, that's 1990s and 2000. Forget the earth tone stuff, okay? Look into that. I'm not making the condition, but look into that. Stone veneer is going to cost you, so what? This is the Paris Gateway. The Paris Gateway should pop out. Second thing I don't like is date palms, because they drop dates. They drop dates. I don't care what architecture say, it drops dates on the ground. Okay, so if you have date palms, it's going to drop dates. You see crows, you're going to see birds, you're going to perish, everything else is coming after it. That's a maintenance issue. Watch out when you have these trees. Oh, they look beautiful. Yeah, but they're date palms. You got that choice, or you got the other palms. When the wind goes, it's all over the street. So it's kind of a catch-22. Which one do you want? Canary Island Pines is very elegant. The Canary Island Pines are elegant. When you go into real rich communities, Bel Air, Los Angeles, I'm from Los Angeles. I used to drive to Los Angeles, guys, okay, every day. When you go down that street, you think you're in Beverly Hills. So there's some considerations there. Not saying that's something that's super important, but that's one of those things that gives you that look when you come in there. Date palms will drop on the ground. No one's going to dispute that. If you do, you're crazy. Okay, you haven't lived in the city. So I think those are two main things, but I still go back and say that's minor stuff to me. Okay? The major thing is the way it's presented, the way it was put together. And here's another first in going to 22 years, 20, whatever number of years, 21 years. I've never seen people sign on to stuff before you came to a meeting. That is unprecedented, to get those signatures on a piece of paper and publicize it, because this is part of a record. You're saying Kentucky, you're saying Starbucks, you're saying these people. I know you got them signed, because if you don't, we're in trouble, right? So to have that prior, that has never happened. That's very unusual. You say, yeah, we'll go down the line, yeah. You got them signed on. So that's something unprecedented. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm not going to prolong it. I appreciate you coming out, being patient. I knew there would be long. That's why we took a break. But I got to say, I've never seen a better presentation. And we've had some great presenters, but not in total where they went to the public and got in there with the public and got the community support. Isn't that what it's all about? You're going to bring a project and nobody wants to show up? You're going to bring a project, it's ugly, well, it's already built. Well, you didn't ask the community if they want it. Oh, yeah. You didn't ask the Val Verde School District if that's the line. Oh, yeah. What's the oh, yeah? That's the first place I go. What is this going to benefit the school? Don't you think you'd want to know what the school thinks? Yeah. And we just represent a small portion of the city. We're not speaking for the whole, we're just speaking because we're up here and we detail stuff. So we're more detailed than anybody else in the city because we got to send it to the council. But when we say and ask a lot of questions, it's not just because we're asking, because we have raised the bar. Our bar may be higher than Menifee, may be higher than Murrieta, it may be higher than Riverside. We raised the bar and we want to raise it higher than them because we do not have a city to stomp on. We have a great city. We've got a great union, we've got great workers, great projects. You guys really benefit. So hats off. You can applaud yourselves. You do a great job. And this is a no-brainer for me. This was easy. You didn't even need the speeches. I was just done. Okay. I mean, I was done at the beginning, but you have to listen to them, right? Legally. Anyway, that's it for me. Unless someone else has anything, I won't prolong it any longer. I just had to say that. You did a great job. Okay? Now. Where's the page? Oh, okay. I could get the page to read it. Okay. I think I may just use the. What's easier? Okay. Okay, I'll read.
Chairman Hammond, just real quickly, the architecture is the concept. There is a condition for ADPR to finalize the architecture because usually when the tenant comes in, they want to make tweaks. So I just want to make sure that you know that that's in there.
Right.
But even for the main industrial building, the green and,
The industrial building is the final, so if you want to make any suggestion, you should make it now so we can incorporate it as
Okay.
part of the
yeah,
conditions.
because that green and tan
Okay.
matches nothing in that corridor.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I would like to see portion of the actual building itself, the light industrial building and all the components of the BPO in the portion to align and match and have a consistent appearance and material palettes that are all work together and coherent together.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Staff
essentially,
knows what we're looking for.
yeah, yeah. Essentially, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can refer to the architecture that you like along Ramona Expressway, the last two projects.
Right.
Yeah.
Consistency is the main thing. You have a tan building, you have this kind
Yes.
of building, a brick building. There should be consistency of color, consistency of design, even if veneer, stone, whatever. That's something, it's administrative, but I mean, at least make it, so that's your gateway, since you have a sign there, and you want it to pop out. So we don't want the old 1990s colors. Okay. That should be it. So I think, let me read this. It'll take a little while. I'll try to get through as fast as I can. The subject, obviously, because there's so much, that's the only reason I'm reading it. Specific Plan Amendment 21-05218, tentative track map 21-05219, development plan review, a lot of stuff here. 21-00013, conditional use permit 21-05216, development agreement 22-05297. Proposal to consider the following entitlements to facilitate construction of a 950,224 square foot industrial facility and commercial development consisting of the following: specific plan amendment to rezone 42.22 acres, I'm going to be very precise about that, of a larger 49.17 acre site from business park zone and commercial zone to light industrial zone, and to remove a paper street from the circulation plan that says in the Paris Valley Commerce Center Pacific Plan. Tentative parcel map to subdivide 49.70 acres into 8 parcels, ranging in size from 0.80 to approximately 42.22 acres. Development plan review of the site and building elevations, conditional use permit to permit a vehicle fuel station with a convenience store, car wash, another car wash, right? Four drive-through establishments within the proposed commercial development, and development agreement for specific project improvements and community benefits, and I won't read the APNs. Adopt Resolution 23-04, recommending that the City Council certify the final environmental impact report. You don't read the numbers. Adopt the mitigation and monitoring and reporting program. Approve specific plan amendment 21-05218, tentative parcel map. Development plan review 21-00013, and development agreement 22-05297 to facilitate the construction of a 950,224 square foot industrial distribution building and a commercial development based on the findings and conditions of approval. Do we have any to add? And I think it was about, that was administrative one I was talking about.
We could, I can summarize if you want me to.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Or you can add if I'm missing something. One is to remove the date palm tree from the landscaping construction drawings. The second one is to work with staff to update the architecture to be consistent with similar projects. We can fine tune that language before the council meeting, if that's the ultimate recommendation. And then the third one I could find was to include uplighting for the landscaping along Romero Expressway.
Yeah. Okay. Very
I
good.
found a typo. It says drive-through establishments. It should be drive-through establishments.
We'll make those corrections.
Okay. Yeah, we do get down to it. Okay. And I think, was there something we missed? Did we miss anything? No. Okay. Okay, we need a motion. I think he read the amendment, so I don't think we have to read that. But we just need a motion, and from anyone. Once again, do we have a motion? Because I can't do it.
Chair Hammond, you are permitted to make a motion.
Oh, okay. Then I will move.
I will second.
Seconded by Vice
Commissioner
Chairman Shively.
Commissioner Lopez,
No?
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes?
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With 3 yeses and 1 no, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, moving on. You're using this item. Kind of misspelled that one. Item 8 should be business item. I don't think there's any. And unless you guys need a break, I mean, it's kind of. 9, public comments. Shh. We had public comments. Anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission regarding items not on the agenda. Shh. Not on the agenda may do so at this time. Then they can walk up to the podium and state your full name, last name spelled, and each speaker will be given 3 minutes. So, is there anyone for the IT? Is there anyone for general public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Glad you guys are still awake there. Anyone in the audience with public comment? Okay, seeing none, we close the public comment portion. Move on to commission member announcements or reports.
I just wanted to thank everybody that showed up to the meeting. It's good seeing such a good public turnout from the residents and from the community. Also, just want to say that I hope everybody had a good Super Bowl weekend. They enjoyed their time this Sunday, spending time with the family, watching the game, and that they enjoyed Valentine's with their loved ones. Besides that, I just wish everybody has a good night.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Jimenez.
I want to say thank you for the presentations. Just for next time, for when we have future developments like this, rezoning is a really, really hard issue for us. So I wish there would be more involvement with the city kind of screening what is being sent out or really monitoring what is being presented at these meetings with the community. So I don't know if that's possible because we don't know what is really being said by the developer or how they're answering questions. So I don't know if we're able to request that or where we can have the sessions here I would like somebody from staff to at least drop in on some of those meetings, just so we can make sure that the message that is being sent is actually what is going to be delivered. Also, encourage staff really, if rezoning is up, I mean, we can't give up any more of our commercial land, really. When we look at it, we have no more business professionals. So really being very strict, I think this was a very, very unique situation with this particular development. But just in the future, just really honing in on that and knowing that our planning commission really stands with holding on to the very little limited retail and business office space that we have. I also wanted to congratulate the valedictorians. Are starting to the high schools are trying to say who the valedictorians are, and I wanted to give a huge shout out to my daughter Rosario because she is a valedictorian. Thank you. I know she was at their winter formal and she got an email and she didn't even tell me. She's like, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, no, it is. So huge shout out to those students who have put in all that hard work. It's not an easy task. High school is not like it was when I went to school. So extra huge kudos to those students throughout our high schools in our city and our district that are earning those honors and are getting ready to graduate. I know that acceptance letters are beginning to come, so best of luck to all our scholars.
Vice Chair Shively, did you have any?
So I would like to see, as we move forward, that any applicant that wishes to do a zone change go to the extent that this applicant did. Polling the community and getting a document that, of results of what the community wants, definitely helped my decision here tonight by them doing so and going to the extent they did. So if we can try to get the applicants in the future to go to the extent that this applicant did, it'll at least give the community a great chance for them to put input as much as possible into most likely a industrial warehouse or light industrial zone change to go forward. And I'd also like to see if it's possible in one of the meetings, in the future meetings, since Planning Commission is also Landscape and Tree Committee as well, if we can have some formal type of study or lesson from a landscape architect or someone that's certified to be able to give us some knowledge of what plant palettes are best suited for our general neighborhood and city of Paris by itself, if we can have that done in the future.
Oh, okay. I know Kenneth's got a lot, so I'll keep it brief. I did attend, despite getting in rehab, I did attend on January 18th, the opening of the Career Center, and it was cold that day. But the Career Center, and they're breaking ground, they're already starting doing construction there, and there was quite a few people there. And I was proud to see that this is something coming. They were talking about contributions there, but that's a fantastic project. I think it's 13,000 square feet, and it should be completed by next year. So it was nice to be able to get out and just be able to get there. I crawled there literally, but I got there. I think too, the city's doing a lot of things, and I think one of the things that, and I'm not just going to pick on the problem, we just voted on it, but the idea is that the community input, that's what sells it. When you go to the community, you got me. Because there's no way I'm going to not do that when you do what we ask you to do and you go to the community. The ones that don't, it's 50-50 deal. I don't want to see a lot of, there's one exceptions of giving up a business zone because I normally don't like doing that, but economics drives it. That's the first thing they're going to tell you, is economics. Even your city people say economics drives it. So to build a shopping center, big giant thing, they're going to go smaller, and you just have to make sure the architecture and the other stuff is there. I would like to see healthier food since it's a live healthy, but we're seeing fast food. I see another Kentucky there. but but that's the economic. I know economic driven. What are you gonna do? You know, Whole Foods, they're high end. They tend not to come in this area. Sprouts, you know, but you could, yeah. But good luck. Maybe in the future. But I think the whole concept of getting development agreement, all that other stuff really done, and the engineer of getting the lines and all that stuff together, because that's going to change that strip there by having a median there. I still think class 4 bike lane with bollards is the only thing that's acceptable, because you'll get run over. But that's what. But look at the architecture and the detail they went through. And it was almost impossible not to find anything other than the Morgan Street thing. So I appreciate it. I want to say hats off to our city attorney, Yesenia Vargas. Thank you for being here. It's much quieter than the other one, right? Yeah, he's probably watching this. Wait a minute. But I appreciate the support and all that. And without further ado, I shouldn't even say this, but I'm thanking the city of Paris, who made me the honoree for Black History Month this month. And the only reason I'm saying it, they called me on that day and said, I need the information today, I need a picture today. What? I need a bio is Friday, give it to me. Do I have it? No, I need it today. Oh, that's the way City of Paris does you, right? Yeah. But I'm really thinking, and it's not so much just for me, it's the idea that we're recognizing merit. And I'm not just doing it for that reason, but if I can do anything that can help in that sense by being here, I'm here to help, I'm here to serve. That's my only thing. I'm not here worried about the title or crown. It's just, if they recognize it, it's because I'm able here to serve here. And we have mixed people here, and I like the fact that we have a mixed city. And I leave the next one to our director, director of community service and whatever other hats, marijuana czar and all the other stuff, right? And I direct over here. So whoever wants to.
I will update you on the upcoming items for the March 1st Planning Commission meeting. We're going to have 3 items. One is a conditional use permit for a fast food restaurant for Raising Cane's on Nuevo Road. Wow. So that's exciting. We have an application for a warehouse on Redlands Avenue, just south of the site where we had the modification of conditions, so between Placentia and Ryder. And we're also bringing you design guidelines for residential development. So that's going to be a fun one. Wow. And I'll bring you that one.
Okay. So you're going to suffer that day. Okay.
So I'll turn it over to Kenneth for any other updates. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to let you know we appreciate your feedback and then all your input. And just congratulate Chairman Hammond for recognizing you as an individual of color who's contributed to this community. It was only after you took some time off that they remember you. Exactly. So we don't want to see you not be here, but sometimes they won't remember you until they miss you a little bit. So, so that was the benefit of that. Just upcoming activities and awards at the city, activities at the city. I just want to let you know that I believe next Tuesday, February 21st at 10 a.m. I'm not sure if you got the invitation. If you haven't, there will be an award ceremony for the monument for the mother language. If you didn't get that, let me know. It's just to recognize that we should remember our mother language, where we came from, just to, like, this is an important part of our culture and heritage, and it's just to recognize that. So that is next Tuesday at 10 a.m. And then if you want to have any fitness or looking forward to your New Year resolution to stay in shape, there will be a Take a Hike activity on February 25th. And I believe it's at Frank Eaton Park. Thank you. And with that said, we'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks for our next Planning Commission meeting.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know we had been postponing our yearly Planning Commission trip. We're waiting for Chair Hammond to come back. So I wanted to remind us.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we'll reach out. If you're ready, Chairman Hammond, we'll get back.
Okay, when you're ready.
It would be a real slow walk, I can say. Yeah, no, we appreciate it. And does everyone, that particular presentation you have it on PDF? The one that you did, the third, number 3, that showed all the KFC and all that stuff?
We can forward you via a link.
Yeah, because questions will come and we can say, it was in the meeting, so they're going to come. Because that's really dangerous to put it out there and you don't have signatures. So I'm assuming they do. So, wait a minute, not say anything, Kenneth. Tell me they have them lined up, right?
Usually,
no.
normally, they would not be able to put the business up unless they have some sort of
Okay.
decent commitment from these operators.
You say, what do we mean? Okay. And thank you, Lupita. I appreciate the staying awake all this time. Thank you to our interpreter there. And thank you, IT, as always. IT is a great IT. We don't really underestimate them, but they do a great job. And thank you to our engineer. Thank you to staff. And with that, we want to adjourn. I knew we'd be a little late. We're probably 30 minutes over, but if people want to speak, you have to do First Amendment. You can't stop them from speaking. You can't stop them talking. It's an important project. So, okay, until March 1st, enjoy. And hope it's not rain. I don't think there's any more rain planned, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, and thank you so much, staff. See you later.